like to welcome you to our first budget workshop. It is Tuesday, April 7th. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. Please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Angeloni.
Here.
Deputy Mayor McMillan.
Present.
Counselor Diamond. Here. Counselor Goad.
Here.
Counselor Mace.
Here.
Counselor Rose.
Here.
And Counselor Whitwer.
Here.
Counselor Miller will not be here tonight, and Counselor Zampano is running about 10-15 minutes late. But we will get started. So the first item on the agenda is closeout of capital projects, which is in your packet at your desk. So there are items on this CIP budget, the proposed CIP, that we're using closeout from capital projects, and in order to do that, we have to make the motions to close them out. Anthony has gone through to all of the projects that are completed. These are not the current bonded projects, so this does not include the high school, the police department, NBIS, or communications, which were the latest items that we bonded. So this is prior to that. So we will start. So the first one is from 2024-25. A portion of the other funding was coming from fund account 3606. The town council needs to formally close out two capital projects, which is 3606 and 3607. So would someone like to read those motions?
I'll make the motion, whereas the 2015-16 Capital Improvements Fund 3606 was created to separately account for the capital projects funded in 2015-16 fiscal year, and whereas the projects delineated in this fund are deemed to be complete and balances were transferred forward for the approved capital improvement plans in 2024, 25, 25, 26. Now therefore be it hereby resolved that the North Branford Town Council directs the Treasurer and Finance Director to close Fund 3606.
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan. Any discussion?
Yeah, is there any money in that fund? Because I don't see any dollar value there.
It was previously transferred per the prior two capital improvement plans, 24, 25. They're attached on the back here.
I've been looking at all of those and they don't seem to add up, so I'm just trying to figure out where the money's going and where they came from. What do you got?
So look at the 24, 25. It calls for 171,405 of other funding. And then in 25, 26, we call for, I don't have the total, but the other pieces come out of other funding from other projects.
All right, so how does that fit into this?
So you guys approved to move the money previously. Now this just closes the loop and closes the fund.
All right, but where can I find those figures on here? Are they on here or not?
No, they're on the other sheets. They're on the sheets for each of the fiscal years.
On these sheets?
Correct. Yeah. Keep flipping, let's see. See, for 24, 25, the other funding column, you see we're using 171,405 from Fund 3606.
So 171,405
It
is
was already moved into this fund, out of this fund and into the
3610 or 3617? What am I looking at here?
No, it was from 3606.
Yeah,
Moved into this fund, 3617. We're not closing that fund. That's still a live fund.
so this is 3617?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I need to know.
Yep.
And then you can explain something to me on the next motion.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. You want to do the next one, Marie?
Whereas the 2016-2017 Capital Project Fund 3607 was created to separately account for the capital projects funded in 2016-17, and whereas the projects delineated in the fund are deemed to be complete, and $15,183 was transferred per the approved 2025-2026 capital improvement plan, and whereas the remains of the balance of approximately $12,782.35 of cash in that fund, and all that balance will be identified as one of the other funds referenced in the 2026-2027 CIP. Now, therefore, it be hereby resolved that the North Branford Town Council directs the treasurer/finance director to reappropriate the entire cash balance of Fund 3607 to 2026-27 capital improvement plan and Fund 3607 to be closed.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Diamond.
I have a question on 3607, if Tony can explain it to me. So now here I got 3607, right?
Right.
And we're transferring $12,782,
Into the 26-27, the new, this coming year's capital plan.
which is 3617.
It's gonna be 36-27.
It's gonna be 3627.
Right.
So what's this 3607, and where's all of this money going to, where did it come from?
That's the money, the biggest chunk that's there is the MBIS water project.
And was that North Branford Intermediate School?
Right, we had put money aside throughout it started out with a water infiltration project, we added, you'll see one of these other things, we closed out several projects and put money towards that, and then it just morphed into the whole MBIS master project. So this money was not spent on that, and we did the whole $10 million gig instead.
So 3610 is not
No,
being
they
closed
were-
out? We're not taking money from 3610?
We will,
But
we will,
we will, but to put in 3627?
yeah.
I got it. I got it.
Got, okay, you're all set?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
All right, whereas the 2018-19 Capital Improvement Fund 3609 was created. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I missed one. Sorry. Thank you. Whereas the 2017-18 Capital Improvement Fund 3608 was created to separate account for capital projects funded in the 2017-18 fiscal year, and whereas the project delays in the fund are deemed complete and therefore remains a balance of approximately $51,215.92 of cash in that fund, and all the balance will be identified as one of the other funds referenced in the 2026-2027 CIP. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved that the North Branford Town Council directs the treasurer/finance director to reappoint the entire cash balance of Fund 3608 to the 2026-27 capital improvement plan and Fund 3608 be closed.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Questions? Good, Vince?
I'm good.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
All right. Whereas the 2018-2019 Capital Improvement Fund 3609 was created to separate account for the capital projects funded in 2018-19 fiscal year, and whereas the projects delineated in the fund are deemed complete and therefore remains a balance of approximately $71,293.02 of cash in that fund, and all that balance will be identified as one of the other funds referenced in the 2026-27 CIP. Now, therefore, it be hereby resolved, the North Branford Town Council directs the treasurer/finance director to reappoint the entire cash balance of Fund 3609 to the 2026-27 capital improvement plan and Fund 3609 be closed.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Diamond.
Question.
Yep.
So it's nice that we have this leftover money in the different years, but my question is it normal that we wait 3, 4, 5 years to cough it up, or do we have to wait till the project's completed?
It is normal for that.
Well, you have to wait until the project is
Right,
completed.
one of these goes back some 10 years, right? So I'm just curious, how long does it take to like get that money back?
Well,
It stays in the different funds. If you look at one of these other sheets in here, the picture of the 2016-17, you see we closed out about 7 or 8 projects to fund the MBIS project at that time. So it's common that we just roll the money as the plans, as the project's complete in each fund, the cash will sit there and we just roll it forward to future capital projects.
So we're not expecting something like this next year, right? Going back 4 years.
There might be every year, there could be some
Yeah, there's
that,
different accounts that come through.
Okay.
right, different
All right,
funds that
that's
are completed.
Thank you.
No problem.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Okay. Whereas the 2019-20 Capital Improvement Funds 3610 was created to separately account for the capital projects funded in the 2019-20 fiscal year, and whereas there remains a balance of approximately $633,000 of cash in that fund, and all of that balance will be identified as one of the other funds referenced above in the 2026-27 CIP. Now, therefore, it be hereby resolved that the North River Town Council directs the treasurer/finance director to reappoint the remaining cash balance of Fund 3610 to the 2026-27 Capital Improvement Plan, and Fund 3610 be closed.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Diamond.
Yeah, I have a question for Anthony.
Nope. Okay.
Tom,
Yes, sir.
does that mean that all of this money here on this page, 768,000,
No.
these are all of the funds?
That's it.
Why are we?
Right. That's gonna be rolled into this year's
That,
capital
as far as
improvement.
Is that going into this year?
No,
So-
those are all ones we're closing out. It's going into 3627.
All right, so this is not 3627?
No.
There's one more.
No.
That's gonna be,
There's another motion here.
can we go to it now?
I'm good,
After
Mayor.
You're good? Okay.
I'll
All
come
in,
back to this on my, okay?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Actually, no,
Okay.
that would be increased by that, though. It's not representative there.
Right.
So let me do my math on that.
Um, Well, no, because we're taking it for this. We're taking it for a specific. So just read the motion. and
So
we can
that's not
discuss
gonna,
it.
that's not gonna go into that?
Yeah,
That's gonna
just-
stay this?
Yeah. so
Oh, you
just-
wanted to put the in summary? Because this is gonna be separate than what we just did.
Yes, this is a separate one.
So, read it into, I'm gonna read it into,
Yeah, it's a motion.
oh.
No.
Yeah, no, but this is-
Yeah, no, there's another motion.
Okay, and then we'll come over to the
Yes.
summary. Okay, just let me know.
Yep.
All right. Be it hereby resolved that the North River Town Council directs the Treasury/Finance Director to transfer $117,000 from the 3610 2019-20 capital improvements to fund the 3617 2023-24 capital improvements plan.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Counselor Diamond. So this $117,000, this is an appropriation for the DPW office addition that we approved the additional cost at our March meeting. So rather than wait until next year, we're closing it out all in the same fiscal year because this money has already been spent on the addition, so it will all flow into the same fiscal year. So this $117,000 will fulfill what we approved last month for the DPW. So that money will all be, that project is, will be expended then. Will
Is
be-
that $117,000 in addition to what we already funded?
Yeah, we approved the contract.
Right.
Back in May of last year for the addition to the DPW. That was the contract with Munger Construction for the addition to the DPW. And we knew that we were funding it with money from the fund balance. We were not bonding, we did not borrow any money. We're taking it basically out of our savings. We're paying cash. This $117,000 were the ancillary cost in addition to the Munger
What was the
construction.
original contract, you recall?
Approximately 1.5 million.
So this 170,000 is in addition to the 1.5 million that's already been expended for the project? Okay.
Correct, correct. And so that $117,000 is coming from another capital fund that is being closed out. That will fund the DPW project
All right, thank you, Chair.
specifically.
Thank you, Chairwoman.
So now, that's the roll-up, correct, of the closed?
No, so let's take a vote on this.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay,
Rose, can I ask a question?
I just wanted to explain something quick. So on the third page of all the motions we just did, there's a summary of the funds that are being rolled into the 2026-27 CIP plan, which were the motions that we made. The 12,782, 51,000, 71,000, and the 633. So that $768,290 is available for us to appropriate for the 2026-27 CIP budget.
All right.
So we can, right now, on the capital improvement plan that we were given at last week's meeting, you will see on the CIP plan that there's a column that lists budget funds, and there's approximately $1,539,173 in budget funds. So that means that has a direct correlation to the mill rate. That $1,539,000 will affect the mill rate.
And if I understand it correctly, that's the 3627, Tom? I got it, okay.
Okay.
With the 117 that we spent, it reduces it to.
No, there's, that 117 isn't in that 1539. That's already.
Yeah, I'm saying of the additional income, because we've
Where's the
allocated.
capital?
No,
The
this
651.
117 isn't part of these motions. It's only,
It's above and beyond.
it's above and beyond. The 117 was a
Yeah.
different account.
Okay.
So we have the full 768,290 to,
That's 3610. 3610.
yeah,
That came out first before you closed it.
Okay, so you already took out the 30,
The
okay.
process should have been happened first.
Okay, that's what I want to understand, because it says the same account number. I
Yeah,
want to
same
make
fund.
sure.
This one should
So
have
this,
happened first.
it
Yeah,
would have
okay.
been
Yep, yep,
700,000.
correct.
Yep.
Okay.
You are
Okay.
correct.
Okay,
Thank you.
that makes sense, and that was a little bit murky on this. Okay, sorry. That's-
so we can, with these motions that we just did,
Yes.
closing out these projects, it gives us $768,000 during our budget workshops to appropriate whatever we would like, whatever we choose on these capital projects. So we can move money out of the budget fund and move the project over to other funds. And it will have a direct correlation to the mill rate on there.
Yes.
So that takes care of the capital, closing out all of these capital funds.
Okay.
So that is item 2, and then item 3. So all the motions we just made takes care of items 2 and 3 on the agenda,
Thank you.
okay?
Rose, I got a simple question about number 3. The Public Works, is that project totally done except for the cameras? We
I mean-
done? Franny,
Franny, is
is
the Public Works,
done? That project done except for the cameras?
the Public Works
It's done.
addition, your addition, is it complete?
Yes.
Okay.
Aside from miscellaneous landscape out front that we're doing, it's done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So any additional work, the landscape, any minor work like that is coming out of your budget, your regular operating budget on there. Okay. So there should be no more appropriations for the Public Works addition
Great,
on there.
thank you.
Okay, so now we are on discussion and action of the proposed 2026-27 town budget. And we are going to start with town operations first. And I know that some people had some, before we get into the departments, I know some people had some questions just in general, so.
Yeah, I would like some more clarity on the consolidated accounts, okay? First of all, when I look at those, I understand all of them except, I don't know, what are you including when you say other purchased services?
Part of the reason that we wanted to put together the Consolidated Cost Center is there existed in each department's budget in other contractual services, which contains a variety of things depending on the department. And so almost exclusively, those items were carried over in the object, so in other contractual services, and just moved to Department 4100. But for example, that would include fire alarm monitoring, elevator maintenance, things that aren't strictly utility items that would fall in some of the other.
It can't possibly be for every department, right? 79,000?
It is not everything that was in other contractual in
That's
each
what I-
department.
yeah.
Yeah, because remember, the purpose of the Consolidated Cost Center was to keep facility operating costs. But in some of the departments, the objects, the items within other contractual services may not be related to facility operations. So only those that were moved to 4100.
Okay, and then, I looked at these, for example, gas, electricity, other things. Then I go into the individual budgets and I see those items in those budgets as well. For example, gas, I see that in police department, and I think I saw in one other one. So I'm confused, how are you determining which departments are included here, which aren't? Is there some kind of overlap? I just find this whole consolidated a little harder to, I need more clarity, I guess is what it is.
Sure. Generally speaking, items were left in the department if they were exclusive to the department, or if they were sort of at the department's discretion. So for example,
All right, for example, the police department, there's quite a bit in there for gas. Do they go to Public Works to get all their gas?
yes.
But yet, that's in their budget.
Yeah, the vehicle fuels remained in the department's budgets. So there is a small amount of gasoline in Department 4100, and that is for generators. Within each of the departments, to better track the vehicle fuel consumption, it was left in the departments for this year.
Right. That helps, but again, as I said, after I studied that, and then when I looked at some of the individual departments, I wasn't sure which was which, okay.
So I have a question on those consolidated costs. So on the, like heating fuel and the departments that are listed, will those departments be able to see, like, out of that 38,000, it's 38,000 for heating fuel, and it has the PD, DPW, Stanley T, whatever, and are they broken out by building in this account, this consolidated account? Does that department, whoever it is, have the ability to see what their starting point is for fuel and their usage in this account?
So, yeah, there's a very long account string for each account.
Right.
One of those 4-digit strings is the department number. So within Department 4100, there's a sub-department number that ties it to the department where the consumption is occurring. And then the final 3 digits are the location code. So for example, in the library, you would have the sub-department as the library, and the final 3 would be either Smith Library or Atwater. So it is tracked at the location code. We can run it by the department level. And anyone can do an account inquiry at any point to see where it stands currently.
So they can see where they started at in July, they'll be able to see for their building, how much of that total 38,000, how much is dedicated to their building, and then each month or every quarter, however often they want to look, they can see what is going to be charged against it?
They can see the Consolidated Cost Center is overseen by the purchasing agent because they're the one purchasing the fuel. They're the ones doing the lock-in contracts, et cetera. So in the budget in 4100, each object has a budget. We did not budget at the department level, at the location level, right? So we're not saying it's going to cost $3,000 to heat Edward Smith Library. The budgets in 4100 are based on the consumption over the past year.
So it doesn't have anything to do by department then?
Right, that was the intention of pulling it out, is now it can be managed centrally. And if somebody is trending above average, we'll know that.
Will they know that?
I mean, if they start trending above average, we're gonna start asking why, and we'll be speaking with them.
Okay,
I have a question.
yep.
So on the consolidated costs, the way Rory's explaining it, all the utilities, the building maintenance, the water, sewer, natural gas, electricity, that's what the town pays for all of the buildings, including the Board of Ed?
No, this is nothing with the Board of Ed.
All right, so this is nothing with the Board of Ed. So these costs are not part of the department's budget then, because the town pays for these. So the departments get the benefit of the town paying for the utilities, the natural gas, electricity, and everything else, I take it.
Well,
Town paid either way.
yeah.
It doesn't matter how it's reflected on the statements. If you say the library, for example, the costs were under the library department, heating oil, things like that. Now, in the consolidated cost center, you'll see it's in there, but it's broken down by the library department, and furthermore, by each building.
Each building part, okay.
Yep.
All right, so I have a better understanding of that then, okay?
Okay, so you just said something different than what Rory said. So maybe.
No,
like-
the budget is at the object level. The charging is gonna be specific.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I asked, and I thought Rory just said that it's not.
Right.
It is not budgeted.
Not budgeted.
At the department level, but it is tracked at the department level. And the budget is the sum of all of the department's usage.
Yeah, so they're keeping tabs in each department.
Correct.
But it's funneling into one cost center.
And
It's common, actually, that's not.
Yeah, so for
uncommon.
example, for the Eversource bills, we still have a number of accounts. And so everything is tracked at that account level as well. But budget-wise, there is one object number budget in the budget for the whole town. And that is based on the sum of all of those departmental codes, the location codes, and the UI account numbers. So it's
Okay.
tracked multiple ways.
So you could determine how much electricity, particularly like the police department or one of the buildings, you can detect how much electricity is being used in each facility.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So then in the munis, then would you, like, all these items here, would you then have a separate account number for each department? So then, for example, say utility phone, you have one for each department, how much they're spending
Yeah,
on that
that
phone?
sub-department number, yeah, is how we track it at the department level.
It's quite a lot
It's
of
a lot-
numbers.
It's a lot of work on the back end, but, for example, previously, if we needed to track electricity usage at Edward Smith Library, the budget was done at the departmental level, right? And so we'd have to be looking at the UI bills and putting together a spreadsheet, and that's how we would have to track it. Now, you do the work up front to program the chart of accounts like this, and you can just run a report on demand. So it is a lot of work on the front end, but when questions are asked about what it's costing us to run these facilities, now we can give an answer much more quickly.
Okay, so I see the electricity here under utilities, and there's a line item for electricity without the solar credits. And then we have the solar credit. Is this dollar amount for solar credits our total existing solar credits? The 112,000?
lump them all together, Michael? I don't know.
So they're broken out by location, but then summed up to that based on its prior year's usage or generation.
So but is that the total credits that we're carrying forward? Or are there still more solar credits? You just took whatever they used for the past year? Like, what's our year? Because we had a huge solar credit. The Board of Ed had more because their buildings are more, but what our designation?
We still are running those credits. We still have those credits, and we're not paying the bills any longer. We're drawing down on the
Credits.
Each UI bill draws down on the existing credit that is sitting at on the bill itself.
Right, so, we'll take town hall, because I know that, I don't know how much is generated here, but town hall, we have, and I'm just making up numbers because I don't have the bills, but let's say we have 50,000 in credits. On July 1st, it shows you have 50,000 in UI credits. During the month, in July, we might earn some more solar credit, but we also have charges, correct? And then we don't pay anything to UI because we still have a credit balance,
Correct.
right? So we're showing, and this is what throws me in, we show the electric charge of this 200,000 here for UI, and we might not have to pay the $200,000 at all because we have solar credits, correct?
You're correct. As Michael said, the UI has the number, and we, instead of paying them monthly bills, we are using the accumulated credits to offset those charges. So we're not paying them per se. We are incurring expense because the lights are still on, everything's incurring expenses, but we're not paying them.
And is this 112,000 the total amount of credits that we have? Or just what we will be using?
I think this is an activity level. This isn't you're looking for the balance?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not on here. I can get that for you.
because, to me, that plays a part in this. Like, if we have more than 112,000, why wouldn't we use all of it? You're saying that we have 200,000, we're gonna incur $200,000 in UI charges, but we're only gonna use 112, but we might have 250 in credits, so why wouldn't we use them all?
We would. We'll get a number for you. It's a spreadsheet that's out there. We just make sure it's up to date, and we'll get the numbers for you.
So I have a question. So if we budget X for electricity, but we have X
Correct.
for credits, and we use the credits, where's the money? Where have we saved the money, or where have we spent the money? What we
Meaning the
what we've-
budgeted
what we've
dollars?
saved, yes, what we've saved on via credits. That's the.
Will that go back
hard
to the
part
general fund you're
to
asking?
grasp.
So if you've budgeted $100 and it cost you $70 in credits, and then you have $100 budgeted, $70 credited, you have 30 left, you didn't actually spend the 70, where's that $70 going?
You incurred the expense of the 70, though.
Correct, but the expense of the 70
It's not
was.
cash.
Correct, but it was, you had it budgeted as a cash item.
Got it
From-
budgeted as an expense to the
Right.
department, in town hall, let's say, for example.
Yeah,
Is a utility expense. So in your case, the $70 bill comes in, we're charging the expense. Because we had the lights are on, we're incurring an expense.
correct.
We're not paying the bill because we've accumulated the solar credits. So from a cash perspective.
I get what you're
that's
saying in
we're
a
saving.
debit credit idea, but when the rubber meets the road,
Right.
when we do a budget,
Right.
we're budgeting what something will cost.
Right.
Whether we pay for it in dollars or gold bars or credits,
Right.
it's coming from someplace. We're budgeting off of dollars,
Right.
okay? We're utilizing credits. So what Tommy is asking, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you're budgeting credits, dollars, and you're using credits, you still have dollars in the piggy bank. Where are those going?
Can I maybe say something? that
Am I
hopefully
right in
clarify?
what you're asking?
Well, yeah.
So, the first thing is, with the solar project, not every account is one of the beneficial accounts.
Correct.
Of course. we
And so
understand that.
there are still bills that are coming in that we are paying cash for to UI.
Correct.
So that's the first part. The other part is, some of the beneficial accounts are Board of Ed. And so-
Correct.
So they are
Well,
not.
they get the majority of the credits.
Correct. So
Right.
those credits are not in this budget, right? They're
Correct.
They're on the
We
Board of Ed
understand that.
side of it.
Yep,
And so, and if you're asking how are the credits budgeted? If I'm
like,
understanding correctly.
well,
Why
Anthony said,
112?
in here, it has UI electricity solar credits, and it's a credit of $112,500. So my question was, is that all of the solar credits that we have, or do we have more?
That was the anticipated for next year's generation.
Yeah, based on usage
Based on usage.
and generation data that we have, that's how much credits we expect to be able to use.
The town side, correct?
Yeah,
What's
we're
coming
only
to our
talking
kid,
town.
okay, well, I'm just making sure, because,
The Board of Ed has a lot more than.
Yeah.
But this is what you're expecting to be generated. But my question goes back to, if we have credits sitting there right now, and we'll have credits on June 30th that are gonna transfer over to July 1st, and let's say that number is $150,000, why wouldn't we use that in the budget?
Do we have that?
Well, he said he could get the number, whatever it is, that we have, this 112, if I'm understanding you correctly, is what you anticipate we will generate next year.
Right.
But going into next year, we already have credits on the
Well,
books.
I guess, what did we save last year? Let's start there.
who's on first?
Well, they probably have to get that information.
Yeah,
first.
I know, but we need the town needs to be able to demonstrate to the citizens.
Right.
We have this solar field over there, supposedly it's generating credits for us to use, or for the town to use for electricity in various buildings. So that should reduce the cost of each building by some percentage, some dollar amount. And how come we can't see that, nor the public can't see that? I mean, that's puzzling to me.
We could run 3 accounts for you right now and get the numbers for you. There's 3 pieces to the electric bill. There's the UI bill, there's the solar credits, and there's the Altus bill.
Altus is the solar
So
charge.
there's 3 pieces to that puzzle.
Right.
So it's not just UI and you got the credit.
No,
There's the third piece.
I understand that,
And it's
but
all segregated by account. We could run the
Right.
accounts for you.
we need to find a way to
Yep.
show the public
Yep.
this data. It should be on a monthly or quarterly or
So you-
biannual basis
for
of some
the-
sort.
It's all broken out.
Yeah, if you can, sometime, and then email it so we have it before the next
Gotcha.
budget workshop.
Ian, do you have Wallingford Electric in there too?
Yeah, Wallingford doesn't get the credits. That's a separate, we
Oh,
have
we
that
don't get
coded
solar
separately.
credits for Wallingford?
No.
Okay.
Rose,
Yeah.
I got a question.
Yep.
So to pile on Tom and Jeb's question, where did, I wasn't clear with your answer as to where it went. So let's simplify it. We budget $50 for electric. We get $25 in credit. The 3 of us want to know, where's the other $25 that we already put in the budget? Or are you saying that you did your best guess of how much we need to pay
Right.
and how many credits there are, so there is no extra money? We're only budgeting the right amount of money?
No, I think, let's get the reports for you, that'll show you the last year, break it down by the 3 components, the UI bills, solar credits, and the Altus bills, and you can see exactly what the net impact is. Doesn't address your question of the current balance, those are off the most recent bill, we can make a list of that as well for you.
Yeah. So,
then,
so
one more
this
thing.
credit is what you anticipate to be generated.
Correct. Not the balance.
It does not take into account the credits we currently have. that are already generated and we haven't used yet.
That is correct.
Okay.
So if we went underneath the line for UI electric solar credits.
Yep.
And we have solar cost, food pantry, Old Town Hall, streetlights. How do I make sense out of that? What does that mean?
I don't know where you are.
Right here, Tony, want it?
I'm right in,
Under consolidated,
Under 56,220.
Solar cost, food pantry, Old Town Hall, street lighting.
And I just picked that line because I don't understand whether, is that a bill from the solar system? Is it?
yeah, they bill
a
us,
Credit?
no, the solar, Altus
Get Altus, so it's the
Altus bills us,
So that's a bill separate from UI.
correct. That's the third piece that Anthony was talking about for electric cost, is there is a bill from Altus at a set rate for solar, based
Okay,
on your
so-
usage from the UI bills.
So wouldn't it be easier to put so solar cost, we don't pay somebody, we don't write a check to solar cost.
Yes, we
Sure we
do.
do. Yeah, we
To
pay
Altus.
Called solar cost?
Well,
it's-
it's to Altus.
Yeah.
Okay, so why wouldn't that say alters? Why wouldn't
Altus.
that be alters bill?
We could call it that. We could call it that. It's just, again, we have it by account number separated, so we could run a report for the whole year for you to show you all the UI bills, all the solar credits, all the Altus bills, by location.
I
by
mean, we
department.
didn't call UI transmission costs, we called UI. So, to me, it would have been confusing if I'm like, okay, what's solar cost?
Oh, it's confusing. I won't deny that. But yeah, we can, it's broken down very easily by general ledger account. We can run a report for you guys for next week, and I'll have it to you prior to that.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, do you have any other questions, Marie?
Not on that part, no. I
Okay.
have others on other.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. All right. Are there any other general, before we get into the departments, are there any other general questions in regards to the budget? Before we start.
You know, I take that back.
Yep, go ahead.
The 750 fund surplus, how do you determine what that fund surplus is gonna be?
You mean how much we're taking from fund surplus
Yeah.
to put into the budget?
There's-
To reduce the mill
Last year
rate?
it was 725, you upped it to 750. We got a lot more, according to the audit report, we did pretty well in terms of the amount of money we had at the end of the year. But how did you determine like 750 or 725?
I mean, it had to stay in the vicinity of last year, otherwise it's like a fiscal cliff. And it has to be funded otherwise.
Well, we've been in the area of, I think if you went back to prior budgets, we've probably been in the area of anywhere from 650 to 850, taking from the fund balance each year, so,
So it's kind of a traditional
generalization.
amount.
yeah, it helps reduce the mill
Right, I
rate
understand.
increase. So that's, you know, if they took that out, it would just increase our mill rate, at least.
You have to keep it at a certain level.
I mean, you could use.
You use all of it, you could bring it down to 10%, you don't wanna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we
Yeah,
didn't
then-
use
then next year
anything,
You'd have nothing.
You'd
to
have
use.
nothing there, exactly.
Right.
You don't want to go below that kind of low water mark, or you don't go near that.
well, 10%
It's
is
the boundary,
our policy.
is the policy.
yeah. But you don't want to
'Cause
get
it helps.
necessarily near that. It
Yeah.
could put us in a financial position.
So there is in our packet, there was, a recap of the unassigned fund balance in the general fund. So it shows what the balance was as of the audit, 6/30/25. And then things that we've already appropriated out of that. So we paid for Public Works. We had to allocate money for Edward Smith Library, our portion of the STEEP grant. Then the number 3 is the budget, applied to the budget, and number 4 is POs that they estimate to be open, that will be open on 6/30. So we have to have that money available. So it shows you, gives us an idea of what fund balance is anticipated to be at the end of this fiscal year on there.
Okay, so help me understand, I'm not trying to be difficult here, but I'm just trying to do a better job of studying. So what then is the funds transfer of $51,000? It's in here separate.
The 51,000 is two items. It's 50,000 going to the OPEB fund for our annual contribution that the actuaries tell us to make, and 1,000 going to the 1831 fund. That's the 51,000, those two items.
Oh, okay. So I was just trying to marry the two numbers. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Okay, so we're just gonna start with our budget books and start with the accounts. And if, I did have a list of just questions and to get clarity on some of these items. So the first account is 4103, Mayor and Council on there. And can you just explain, so there's a large increase under 55,990, other purchase services, and in looking at the detail, it seems to come from Totucket TV. Can you just explain, what does that justification, when it says removes 9,600 in rent and 10,000 in utilities, what does that
Sure.
mean?
So you'll recall when Tucket TV came before the Finance Subcommittee about their ongoing financial issues.
Correct.
They provided a budget at the request of the council for their annual costs. So I took the existing contribution and based on their kind of break-even point, removed the utility costs and the rent costs paid to the town, which got to about their break-even point, mostly as a point of discussion for the council.
So how much did this increase over the current year?
I believe their prior contributions were about 13,000, so it should be about 19,600.
So right now, it's budgeted, the proposed budget is 32,600.
Correct.
So this went up $13,000. This is a $13,000 increase?
19.
19?
Yeah, 19,600, I believe.
19,600, yeah,
Oh, okay.
removes 9,600 rent and 10,000 utilities, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. And can you get, like, how many meetings do they do for the different boards, commissions? I know it's council, Board of Ed, you know, all of those. Roughly how many in a year do they do for us on there?
Find out.
Okay, thanks. Then under part-time seasonal help, okay, this is where the clerk for the town council, the Blueprint Committee, and the town center subcommittee. So I see the numbers that they have for Blueprint and town center. I don't know that the town center subcommittee, the last time they met. Or are they still continuing to meet? And the same with
No,
the
it's
blue.
like a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while.
So,
It's-
okay, so, and then the.
Not to
blue-
say that it wouldn't meet again, but right now it's kind of on hold.
Yeah, I don't think they'd meet 8 times in the next.
Yeah, so we could, if we wanted to, we could reduce that number. And the Blueprint Committee, because I know there was an extended period of time where Blueprint didn't meet. So is 10, would you say 10 is a high number? Like, could we reduce that to 6? Like, if you met every other month, sometimes?
Blueprint in general?
Yeah, that can
Yeah.
definitely.
And then and Town Center,
We didn't have a clerk on that, though, did we?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same clerk
Okay.
as for the.
Right, I remember.
Yeah. So, okay, so Blueprint, we could do 6, so it's 4 there. And then, Town Center, if we kept
Do
2.
6 and 4 and make it 10.
Well, no, if we did, I think 2 for Town Center is probably
You don't get to do it quarterly,
biannual.
biannually?
Well, they're not meeting that, I mean,
That's true.
Al said that they haven't met in a year, so if you wanted to
Yeah.
keep something,
Let's
if
be-
they were going to meet, so you could do,
How many times has the Blueprint Committee met this year?
This year,
Yes.
in 2026,
No, well, past year.
we
well,
met once this year.
so in 3 months, they've met
Right.
once
Right.
so
Yeah.
far.
It's a committee that we need to pay attention to, though.
Well, I think if we estimate every other month and try to go to that schedule, and sometimes they might meet together, but, like 2 months in a row, and then you could skip 2 or 3 months. It depends on what they're working on.
Right.
So you're chair of that. Are you
Yeah.
comfortable with 6?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay.
Do we have any blueprints yet?
It should have been renamed to the.
So Rose, you
Master
want
Plan
6 for the
Advisory
Blueprint and how many for Town
Can-
Center?
Yeah, we should.
So,
I mean,
2.
That was the,
Throw 'em up
that was the
now.
goal of it.
Can we change?
I'll prepare the motions for next week.
But eventually, that's what it's.
Okay, all right. That's all that I have on mayor, town council. I don't know if anyone else has any questions.
So I just have one question on the
I'd like to
118,000.
revisit the Totoka TV contribution.
Yep,
So you said that they came to the finance subcommittee.
well, they also came to the council.
Okay, that was my question. So they did come to the
Yeah.
town council when
Correct.
you guys talked about this?
Yes.
But we didn't make any decisions.
All right, because that's what I was wondering how it got in the budget book, if it just went to the finance.
No,
Subcommittee.
the finance subcommittee referred
Sent
it,
it to the council.
sent it to the
Okay.
council, and then they came with data, and we said that we would take it into consideration during our budget upcoming, because they had enough funding to get through
So the council
this fiscal
didn't
year.
approve this?
No. Rory
I'm
just,
proposing it.
he just put it in based on the information they gave us.
Correct.
All right.
What's the current rate?
What?
The current contribution?
Yeah,
13,000.
that's what I thought, okay.
Okay,
So we're just going to 19, or we're going 19 higher?
19 higher.
19.6 higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the proposal. So,
Okay.
and that's where I asked how many meetings do they do for us, and so that just,
Yeah, we need that data.
Pretty good increase too.
we haven't increased their contribution for a number of years. They've been at 13,000 as a contribution.
Long time.
It's their lease that we adjusted because we separated out the parking lot because the dental association wanted some additional parking. So we reduced their lease and gave a lease to the dental by the same amount.
Yeah.
Didn't they say at one point they didn't know if they'd make it through this year?
Correct.
Or are they gonna make it?
Yeah, I haven't asked for an update if there's any change, but Walter Mann checks in pretty frequently with me about the status. So I told him that I was proposing an increase and that would be part of the discussions.
So their fiscal year ends May 31st, so they have 2 more months, April and May.
Their existence, is it derivative of other towns as well, or can they solely live on just North Branford for our meetings? I mean, I know that they do other towns as well. But
Right,
would they
so
maintain?
Tucket TV is solely North Branford.
Yes, correct,
But Walter Mann manages other stations in the area.
correct.
Does North Haven?
Yeah, he does.
And he does
North Haven,
Branford,
does
too.
Branford,
Yeah.
but although I think they funded them a lot more,
Yes,
so, okay, that's good to know. All right, that's all I have.
okay. Next is permanent project, there's really, it's a decrease in their budget, so I had no questions with that one. Town manager. So the only thing that I have in regards to this is, and I'm just throwing it out there, I know right now we do give a travel allowance to the town manager, and I just think we need to look at all of the departments and who gets travel allowances and make it kind of uniform as to how we're going to handle it on there. So it's just something I'm throwing out there, and I'm not saying take it away, but I think we need to just come up with how we're going to handle that. Does anyone else have anything else under the town manager budget? Okay, next is finance. So, so I noticed on the front sheet here, there's quite an increase in the full-time employees on there. And then there's no part-time, so can you just explain what you're proposing here? Because we currently have a part-time person.
Sure. So, yeah, currently we have two clerical positions in the finance office. Both have the same title, Account Clerk 1. They do our payroll and AP. The payroll clerk is at 28 hours a week. The proposal is to increase them to 35.
Based on what? Because with Munis, it's my understanding with Munis, and I know we do payroll in Munis now, and some of that, the actual processing of, or the pre-work of actually processing the payroll is now shifted to departments, like at department heads to approve.
That was
payroll.
always the case. It was paper previously, now it's digital, but the department had always had to sign off on the timesheets. Where there's some kind of aggregation at the department level, currently the PD is still not digital. And so those are kind of, there's some pre-work done at the department level before they're sent over to payroll. But we're in the process of moving that to digital now.
So the time and attendance or whatever we bought for PD, scheduling, is it the scheduling?
Yeah, we're tracking for mid-July.
Okay, so by doing that, does that digitize the police department into Munis for payroll then also?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what is the premise of increasing to full-time?
Sure. The main premise is, as I mentioned, they both have the same title, so they share a job description. The idea is for there to be redundancy. As the council may remember, we lost half of the finance department in very short succession in 2023, and that's something that we're, I think at this point, finally recovered from, but we lost a lot of institutional knowledge there. And part of the issue was that when our AP clerk went out, the payroll clerk did not have sufficient time to do payroll and cover AP. And so even though the redundancy is built into the job description, there's just not sufficient capacity.
Okay. Is payroll every week or every other week?
Payroll is every other.
What's the
Okay.
total number of people on the payroll?
Total, full-time's approximately 100 with all the seasonal and part-time. I'd have to get back to you. It's probably between 250 and 300, I would think. But that includes anybody who gets a paycheck from the town. So the elections workers are listed as employees and they're onboarded for payroll purposes.
You say 250 to 300?
Right.
Yeah, but there's a lot of.
The volunteer firefighters
There's a
are
lot
all
of
on payroll.
part-timers
So
that don't get paid
Yeah.
every week. like Park and Rec staff, their summer camp program, those, a lot of those only get paid that 8-week time period when the camp is open on there.
But if they're on the
Right, they're still-
rolls, they're receiving a paycheck at some point. So for example, even the volunteer firefighters, when they get their stipend, that all goes through payroll. That's something that has to be processed by the payroll clerk.
So there could be up to 350 people getting a paycheck.
I would say it probably never happens that they all get a paycheck in a given pay period. I mean, elections alone, I think, is probably 50 of them, and they're working 2, maybe 3 times a year, depending if there's a primary.
So can you just give us like,
Yeah,
what's
what's
a
the average?
regular
What's a regular
payroll?
week?
And then.
How many employees?
And then the ones that are the outcast, in Public Works, I know you have summer help, right, Franny? So you Park and Rec has summer help and elections and the firemen, because there's our stipends and things. Okay. So you're cross-training then? So the AP person would cross-train for payroll?
That would be the concept. The issue that we had was that when the departure took place, the full-time position left. So only the part-timer was left, and that's where we ran into a lot of problems with capacity.
Okay.
But the idea, yes, would be that both would be cross-trained. That's what's in the job descriptions.
Okay, and with the Munis and all the training we've done with Munis and the accounts payable section, which is the full-time person right now on there, has any of that work that was done before with the paper and the invoices back and forth and all that stuff, that's been digitized, right, from what we've been told, for the most part? Like the
Yes.
approval portion of it?
Yeah, so
and-
when a new employee comes on board, instead of doing a paper payroll authorization, now it's digital. But that actually probably ends up being more work for payroll because they're the ones who are originating it before sending it through the digital workflow, so they have to do the setup part of that.
Right, for onboarding, that's on employees.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, and anytime there's a pay increase,
Right.
et cetera.
Yeah, but on the accounts payable side,
Mm.
would you say that the work of the account person, the account clerk person, has changed somewhat with Munis because the whole idea with technology and digitizing and everything else is that it should kind of lighten, it should make their work easier,
Yeah.
right? So I guess I just am trying to get a clearer idea of that person in what they do, and has some of that workload shifted to departments? Because they're
Yeah.
approving more, they're doing more work at their end to approve, to pay the bills.
Yeah, yeah. One of the other things we found when the AP clerk left, whenever you lose institutional knowledge, it's difficult. And the process as it existed relied heavily on institutional knowledge. So about, what's it, a year and a half ago, probably, we started taking a look at the AP process. And so, for example, we try to make it standardized that if there is a purchase order on the system, it appears on the invoice, so that when it gets to AP, they know where they're pulling it from, as opposed to having to rely on institutional knowledge, which we lost, right? And so part of that was, the departments themselves are receiving the invoices, verifying them before they get into the digital workflow, because if the invoice is not correct, the AP clerk is not going to know that, right? Only the department would know that. So with the workload did shift around a little bit.
Okay. Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions under finance?
Yeah, getting back to the payroll clerk, I thought in what little knowledge I have on Munis was that now the department heads, you know, they're doing their departments, basically their payroll and uploading it. And so when it gets there, they just have to verify whatever was put in there or verify that it's legitimate.
Yeah. The payroll clerk?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the work for payroll comes from, so for example, in Public Works, there's a time clock down in Public Works, right? So we know when people clock in and clock out. But what they're doing while they're clocked in varies dramatically, right? So sometimes they're acting out of class and they're being paid out of class. And that's something that's done at the payroll level. The PD likewise, where you have shifts, differentials, some of it can be automated, but some of it is not. You know, for example, there's a differential for the dispatchers who work the night shift. That can be automated. But if, and I'm hoping I'm not getting this wrong, when the guys plow, they're getting highway pay, even if they're grounds guys.
Yeah.
And so that's something that can only be done at the payroll level, right? So there's manual stuff that is based on
So is that done at Public Works office?
Well, they're notating because the payroll clerk doesn't necessarily know what the guys are doing, but in terms of programming the payroll and making sure that people are getting paid appropriately, that's the payroll clerk.
So they have to take that, they take the notes that Franny makes on his payroll.
Correct.
And then they have to, because they could have, 12 hours at one pay and, 32 at another, and then whatever the case may be. Overtime is a different rate if they had.
And then applying the various contract rules that may change what people are paid. That's usually done manually because there's not really a way to automate it because it's exception based.
Right.
That's
Okay.
not done by the department head, though?
Well, the department head's telling them.
Yeah, they're not programming the payroll.
So-
Yeah, my extra duty is still gonna have to be manually entered, things that, she still does the billing for the extra duty, so
Correct.
all that stuff's not going away. We're trying to take a section and make it easier on both sides, staff and then for finance, but her work's not going down so much as I would say it's like being eliminated. There's still gonna be stuff, at least for the PD side, that person still has to do inputting and things of those natures, or whatever those cases may be.
Okay.
So I don't want to leave you with the impression that it's all going to be computerized and we're all done, at least for the PD. There's still going to be manual things that need to be done along the year.
We're eliminating the data entry portion.
Right, because if they have a time clock and everything else, there's reports that come through that say
Correct.
how
Then-
many hours
Then we'll
they
know the
have.
start and stop times.
Right.
But it's, again, what they're doing when they're there, that may have to be programmed manually. And then, of course, like with workers' comp, we have to get 52-week wage statements to our comp provider.
Right.
Census requests, FOI requests. There's
Right.
a lot of other, reporting that has to be done.
Right, okay. All right. Any other questions?
I just thought that this was all taken care of with Munis. I thought the employees have a badge that they swipe with a code that what job performance they're doing, so it's automatically sent to payroll. In other words, if I'm employee number 1 and I'm gonna go snow plowing, and my code is 124 for snow plowing, then I get the benefit. I swipe my badge and then I get into the truck with the other people and go and do it. Or if I gotta do dig trenches or whatever it is, I just swipe my badge onto one of those stationary, instead of a clock ringing, it would be a badge that reads your badge reader, where it has your name, your ID number, and what job you're performing. So when it comes through the process, it automatically goes to Munis that they're at a higher level or at the regular level or whatever. I thought that was already set up in Munis.
If you are one of the guys who typically does landscaping, you're in the grounds division, and you clock in and out, what that tells Munis is that you're doing grounds work and you're being paid your regular rate of pay. There are some things like overtime and like double time on Sundays, for example, that you can program because they're not exception-based. But if you're a guy who normally does landscaping and you show up to snowplow, Munis has no idea until you tell it.
You have to give it an exception code.
But I thought if snow plowing or whatever performance it was a particular code, they would punch in that code, and once they
and it
select their
is.
badge, it puts them at that
It
next
is, but it's
function.
the payroll clerk who has to tell Munis that it's the snow plowing code.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Because
can't
it's
leave
an
that to the
exception to
employee.
the norm.
Yeah,
You really can't leave that to the employee. It wouldn't, you know, first off, they wouldn't know the codes that are within that system. You just, it wouldn't be typical to
There's a
do
lot
that.
of codes.
There has to be a payroll clerk to do that some way, to upload that code and know that it's proper. Then even if you had the employee do that, you'd have to have someone verify it on the payroll side. Otherwise, you can, oops, I put in the code for.
Wouldn't
that
it
would
be the
be fraud.
manager, wouldn't it be the department manager?
Department head only knows
It can't be
those-
the
knows
department head,
that.
yes.
well,
But for Franny's the only one that would know, okay, that day they worked, they were plowing. The payroll person's not gonna. look-
right, so that's what
look at-
he has to do on his
Right,
end.
his
Correct.
end will be done. So when the payroll person gets it, it's already done. I can't imagine that the payroll person would look at the time slip and be, oh yeah, it was snowing that day, so they must have been snow plowing, so I'm gonna change the rate.
Right, that's,
It would be
the-
coming to the payroll
Correct,
person
it's gonna
from
be-
Franny done already.
Correct. The sheet-
right, but the rate of pay is not there.
Yeah, so we do the payroll, you know, because a half the crew could be, go out for ice and the other half not. So when we do when they punch in and everything, clerk does all the, goes through and we talk between Danny, who did what. So we code it all up and then we set it down. What they're talking about is the financial codes. So when she gets it down to payroll, it's all spelled out for her, the time and.
About who was
how
doing
she
what.
did it.
And then it's her job to go into Munis and let Munis know which three-digit code is to be applied to which period of time, so that they're paid appropriately.
For what is it, a clock ring
Yeah.
that they punch in? So they don't swipe a badge, that is an automatic badge reader. Kind of like when you go to an ATM, you put your card in, all the information is right there, the machine knows what to
They'd
do.
be driving back and forth to the shop every time they did something different. And
The clocks are at the shop.
Oh, okay.
it's not in their truck or nothing. So they punch in the morning. You know, we could be a regular day doing whatever, and it snows in the afternoon, and it gets changed all over. So we have to keep track of that.
Maybe your department may be different from other departments. I don't know if at other departments it would work. That would cut down for the people who are doing payroll to say that a lot of this information is all on data, that all they have to do is just punch in numbers and then it's all taken care of.
It's really the police department and public works.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
real complex one.
the administrators are salaried, so the payroll's relatively straightforward, and the clerical unit, it's pretty rare for them to even get overtime, but even that can be automated because it's just a threshold.
Right,
It's really
police. and-
differentials,
Right.
shifts, work assignments, that kind of thing.
Okay. All right, moving on to central services, 4129. So, let me see. So under cleaning supplies, 56010, there's a cost for mats for the kitchen to prevent slips and, is this a rental, this 2150?
So they come and replace them every 2 or 3 months.
Excuse me.
So we can't just, because I know we have a cleaning service that comes in, we can't get a mat that is I mean, you can buy them for your house or whatever, that's a couple $100 and they can be washed. The cleaning company would just mop them if they were dirty or something.
We haven't,
I mean,
we haven't discussed that. There's a possibility, sure.
Okay. All right. And then, so they have flags in here, American, state, and town. So with our new flags that we're getting and everything, so we shouldn't need any new American flags.
Well, no, the American flags are not, those are the ones on the poles. They're talking about flags like on flag poles, correct? Not on the telephone poles.
Okay.
So so they need to be replaced frequently, especially some of the ones up winter.
Okay,
And we do replace them so that they're not ripped or torn.
okay. Do you know roughly, for $4,000, roughly how many flags this is?
We do have an inventory Excel
Right.
sheet.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know how many
Yeah,
flags
yeah.
there are, but every building has at least 3 right now.
Yeah, and it was a couple dozen, because in the wind, they break and tear and.
Yeah.
Okay. And the postage account, with postage continually going up, we could be close to $1 pretty soon. Is there any way that we can try to mitigate this increase? I mean, is all postage for all departments comes through central services, correct?
Right, so we've been looking at, consolidating vendor checks, trying to group invoices together to cut one check with multiple invoices on it, so that way it reduces it. We're also, Anthony, I think this may be the year we look at some ACH payments and stuff, which will reduce mailing checks and stuff. I don't know. Some of the stuff
Is the biggest tax bills,
tax bills, right?
is my guess, is for postage?
Yes, definitely.
We paying for delinquency and all that? Like, or is that coming through that other, we're not paying postage on that, correct? It
Oh,
goes
yeah.
through- It doesn't go through the service?
Thousands.
Thousands, okay.
Is it metered postage? Do you work with the postal service to get a reduced rate for first-class metered postage?
Oh, yes.
So you're not paying 78 cents a letter now, right? What do you pay, 67?
It's 74.
It's not that much of a
It's
difference.
not much out of a difference.
Well, when you're
It used to
dealing with
be greater.
thousands, I mean, every penny adds up, I would imagine. I thought they gave a bigger break than that there, but they don't. Okay.
Okay. All right. Does anyone have any other questions under central services?
Nope.
All right, going to assessor. What is QDS under data processing?
That's our admin software, quality data services.
Okay,
Which one are we in?
assessors,
Assessors, data processing,
4131.
account 53510.
So I see there's a 40% increase a 44% increase in our cost to QDS.
Yeah, because they give us a discounted cost the first year. So that's why there's an increase. The first year they discounted our support, and that included conversion cost, didn't it? That included conversion cost and support, but at a discounted rate. So this year at the full 100% level, opposed to being paid partially on the first year because they gave us a break for converting, basically.
Right.
It was incentive to convert over to QDS.
Okay, so do we have a contract with them?
Yeah, we do.
How many year contract is it?
5.
Okay,
So we're paying this. Fair enough.
okay. And I know the other night we took care of the increase in near maps, which is split between the assessor's office and
Right,
whatever.
land use.
Okay, so that's done. Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions under assessor? The next is Board of Assessment Appeals. There's nothing in that one. There's no budget, so we'll go on to tax collector. So anyone in the tax department is automatically 80 for tax and 20 for sewer for wages on that? That's how that's split? Okay. And currently, I believe you have an open position in your department? which is a part-time position on there? Okay. Um, When was that position added? Is it a relatively new position?
Oh, God, no. That was Barbara Fusey, was hit for 25 years. Who was at part-time and a full-time account clerk. She was previously called the sewer clerk. That was her primary focus, but she had a part-time clerk there for 25 years at least.
Okay. All right. I do not have anything else. Moving on to town attorney, 4139. So on the top page, you know, of the department, where did account 53020 legal services? That number is not in the total. Where is that in the budget? Because here it shows only 65,000, which is 55,990 account has the 65,000, but I don't see legal services anyplace on the top sheet, and I didn't see it in any of the consolidated.
I see it in the book, the printed book. But I don't
Legal
know.
services right there.
Right.
It's on the next page, I think, isn't it?
Well, yeah, there's the breakdown, but
Yeah.
it's not,
It says legal
it's,
services fair.
it's not on this front page.
The summary sheet it doesn't have that.
The summary sheet shows it, but it's not in the totals. So it says program requested, legal services 70,000, 65 for other purchase services, but then the grand total shows 65,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
And it does that for previous years, the historical, so it's just gone.
Yeah, it's
on
missing
here.
that line item in the calculation, in the sum up calculation.
It must be a broken formula.
Hey, Rose?
Yep.
On the second page, it says 135,000.
I know,
Yeah, there, it's just on
Right.
this
But
one
it's not on the
page here.
first page
it's not on the first page, and that's what they use for,
for their budget.
Yeah, so
For-
you have to
yeah.
update this, make a note to put Department 4139.
yeah, I saw the background,
Yeah,
I
right.
saw all that, but I don't see anything. So I didn't know if it carried through, if it was in if it was consolidated in one of the consolidated cost centers.
No.
Nope,
I
this
just
is
was
from
trying to
yourself.
follow the flow.
Yeah.
So a broken formula, okay. Okay, next item is 4143, technology. Okay, so I went through this and I compared to last year because you moved some of these data processing things here, right? I just want to make sure that we captured all of them because it seems like things got moved over to engineering from data processing, right? Well, not just near map,
near
it's
The GIS. yeah.
all the GIS stuff. I mean, it's not listed under, I went to last year's budget book and it was all in here, the GIS. So I was looking on that. And just want to make sure that we've
So
captured.
right now, it's half and half in 4305?
Well, no, they moved $18,100 from, if you look on the front page, and it has in account 53,510, it was budgeted for the current year at 24,800.
Well, let me see.
They're projected just 5,200, so I don't know, did you move stuff from last year or but yet the actual as of 3/18 is more than the projected for 6/30 by, $6,000. and when you look at the historical data, it's been a lot more.
Big numbers, yeah.
And so I saw that it went down quite a bit. So that's why I had to go through to make sure that it got captured someplace. But I don't know how, if you didn't move it out for the current year, how the projected can only be $5,200 when you're moving over 18,000 into engineering for next year.
We moved 16,100 to engineering.
Uh.
2,000 was eliminated because it was not needed anymore. And then CEN, which is the internet service, was moved to 4,100 since it's a utility, along with the maintenance for the fiber for the town hall that's needed for the internet. That gets 17,900. And that should be in the notes. Does that show up in their book?
I don't see that.
No,
Oh.
no. In the notes, it has there's a note by Munis saying that you added time and attendance and the scheduling is paid for by the PD. And the Munis actually went down $1,000 from last year's, what was budgeted for last year. And then the Microsoft 365 licenses went up by $4,000. Is it because we have more licenses? Is that with the, okay. And the Munis, so we're going on Munis, I guess it's the training package. Compared to what we had current year, that's down $2,550. So we went, I think in this current year budget, we had a 9-day package and we're going down to a 6-day package. In regards to that.
Can we get some of that free? Didn't they provide some of that for free? Include some of the package, some of the training? That was the first year? We didn't renegotiate that to have a couple hours or a couple days added? I recall differently.
Okay. And also for IT consulting services, can we just get back up as far as, like, what's a typical, like, is it by the hour? Is it, like, how much do we spend in a year? How many hours in a year are we doing? What kind of information?
Yeah, what's IT consulting services? Who's that?
That's Dennis Panone, our IT consultant. We don't have in-house IT.
So so what sort of a job is that?
I mean, it is everything from kind of the routine, somebody's having an issue with their desktop and needs assistance, to one of the ARPA projects was.
So what sort of an employee is it?
A consultant.
So.
So he's not a W-2 employee.
This is new, and I haven't been on the council since 2018, but, so how was it developed? Was there a request for proposals? Was it put out to bid?
It predates my
If it's a private
time.
consultant, which we all know, that's well over our bid threshold. So the job would have to be bid. So the first question is, how did we get there? The second question is, and the attorney's not here tonight, but how can you, I don't think you can just roll over a private contractor for $110,000 without a request for proposal or something. So I'd like those answers for the next week. Unless someone can answer me now.
It predates, my time here, so I'll have to
Okay.
get back to you.
Well, if it's wrong, it doesn't matter if it predates.
Hmm.
And if it's right, then somebody will have an answer.
But I still, even if it was done correctly, and anybody can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe you could roll over a private contractor or a 1099 employee for $110,000 without it going out to bid. And like I said, maybe we have to ask the town attorney. But it seems like it's well above our threshold for hiring somebody.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, next account is 4147, town clerk. Is Lisa here tonight?
She's not, she's on vacation, but she'll be here next week.
Okay. All right, the only question I had was, I know she has a current position open in her department also.
Well, we talked about that.
So, just to get additional information in regards to that. Okay, so let's move on to, let's see. Yep, go ahead, Tim.
Murray, I have a question. You know, we've talked about corporate knowledge and things. Now, I don't know this, but maybe you already have it. Is there like a SOP, a standard operating procedures, or some manual that all the town uses? Like, these are our requirements, this is the process, here's who you report to, here's what you do. Is there anything like that? Do you have anything online that all the different departments use, and I have to go to the SOP and here's the steps and procedures? Do we have anything like that?
For some things, but not all. We have.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot here,
Yeah.
I'm just curious if you have it, something like that.
Yeah, it's something that we've been discussing, again, trying to move away from institutional knowledge, where we have documentation that can help new employees when they're coming in. We have one for purchasing and for finance. Those are two that come to mind off the top of my head, but it is far from universal.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The next department is planning and zoning, which is a decrease in their budget. I don't have anything for that one.
like those.
Uh,
Rose, could we go back to technology?
Sure,
Where are we going back to?
technology.
The time clock cloud system, where do we have a time clock?
It's part of the payroll, so we have one at Town Hall, Public Works.
So the employees punch a time clock when they come to work?
The clerical employees, the Public Works employees, yes,
Anyone who is paid hourly.
correct.
Okay.
Got it. All right. And then the other thing is, so I had heard about other years, and I don't know if it would be in technology,
But there was that, the thing called ClearGov. Is that in this budget, or that's not this budget?
I couldn't find it anyplace.
Yeah. Anthony, is it in finance?
I don't believe it's in finance, no.
It wasn't in finance, it wasn't in consolidated, it wasn't in technology. I looked in every account that I thought it might be in.
So can we can't assume, but
Yeah.
I know.
can we assume that we don't have that anymore?
Like, do we pay anything for ClearGov?
We have not paid,
So we haven't paid at all?
not this year, no. We asked them for a one-year reprieve, because we're trying to get our act
Are
together.
we under a contract with that?
We were, but it's not, it was, they let us pause for the 25-26 year. There was a lot of work done previously, all the accounts were mapped, how they're gonna reflect online.
And so explain it to me, because I only heard bits and pieces. So this was so anybody, including citizens, could log in and see how the budget's going?
Right, basically, what we do now is we scan a PDF, and it goes on the website. This is the budget. It's basically the same book you guys have in front of you. This is the detail, everything else. This allows a person home to say, what have you spent in the police department for the last 5 years? They can make their own little charts and graphs. It's more of a front-facing thing, what the taxpayer can see versus just that static PDF that really proves minimal value. That's the premise behind it.
And it was 20,000 a year roughly?
I don't remember exactly, but it was probably close to that, yeah.
And there's nothing from the Munis that we can extract that data and put it onto another, like to share that data? The ClearGlove's necessity?
I
The
don't know.
data is from Munis that goes
That's what I
into
thought, right?
ClearGov, but
It's derivative of.
yeah,
So ClearGlove is a vehicle in which allows that data to sit for
yeah,
the
to do
public
more
to
like
get into?
visualizations and interaction. Munis will spit you out a spreadsheet. ClearGov has more kind of interactive functionality.
Do we know the usage?
It
not
has,
used it,
no,
zero.
no one
Oh,
used it.
we've never had it?
We haven't
We've
used it.
never used
So
it.
it's not, it's something we've paid for, but never have had any adoption? Yeah.
Correct.
Because you would have to upload the information from Munis into ClearGov?
Right.
And is it
Prior 3
required?
years, when we first started, we're already provided to them. They've got it mapped out, but we haven't updated it because we've been in that 1-year pause. So it would require us exporting the data from Munis out to ClearGov to have the latest information. Once the 26-27 budget gets finalized, that's what we thought we would reinvigorate
Waste
it
of money.
and use that if that was the desire of the council still.
So getting back to my question, is there a contract?
Negative.
Okay, there you go.
So, and there's not one that's just paused?
We have not paid in over a year. They are,
Right, I'm worried about next year.
right, they want to know what the story is. I keep telling them, we're working on it, we'll get back to them. So there's no current contract in
Okay.
place now.
So they want us to use the product?
They want us
but
to
we are
use it.
not
There's a
required.
lot of work done on our end already, on their work, to get the accounts mapped out, to be ready to put on, the screen.
But they are not, it's not derivative of something that we are required to use?
Negative.
If that data is still available, maybe not in an easy format as ClearGov, but the data is still available.
It's still our
Should
data.
someone want
We
to-
have access to it still.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And it's not budgeted for 26,
I
27.
saw that, yeah, I couldn't find it.
So what's the difference between that and what you were showing us on the screen, how we can use Munis? Or view Munis, view the budgets?
Well, the Munis that you saw is probably just a static report of, this is the technology department, this is the various accounts and such.
Munis is this.
Munis
A
is that,
It's a
exactly.
digital copy of this
Correct.
budget
It's
book.
static.
Right.
Whereas the premise behind the ClearGov was that someone could say, what have you spent on technology in the last 5 years? They could run their own little search, show a little bar graph, charts, everything else, whatever interested you. What's our public works cost for the last 10 years? You could run a report and see that.
So the
Right now-
citizen could do
The
that.
citizen, exactly.
But we could also provide that data if needed, or even put that data together out of Munis and.
Yeah, it's just, it's
It's
on demand with ClearGov.
Yeah.
But it doesn't show real-time spending.
$20,000 on demand.
I'm assuming.
No, has to be uploaded.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so.
Right.
Seems like a waste of money, like I said.
Yeah, so it's not in the budget right now.
All right, so let's not argue something that we're not paying for yet.
Right, we're not wasting.
Yeah, let's waste any more time on it.
Okay, all right, so on to, so planning and zoning was, their budget went down. So planning department, 4153. Their
Nominal.
budget is pretty much status quo. It looks like there's no well, there'll be a little bit of an increase because we had the motion for near maps. So that will affect, because they have 50% of the cost in here. Zoning boards of appeal is down, so nothing there. Property insurance, 4157. So the numbers that are in here, is this an actual quote or is this an estimate? When's the last time we went out for a quote or a bid?
For the insurance,
Yes,
so the broker does it every other or every third year, they shop the insurance for us,
The individual policies.
the individual policies.
so when was the last time that was done?
2 years ago? I
Okay,
think that's the last time I spoke to them, they had said it was 2 years ago, this was earlier this year. And they do it, I mean, they can't switch every year, it's not feasible.
No, I know,
Yeah.
that,
So, but they do shop it every 2 to 3 years, and I believe a lot of them were done 2 years ago, is what they had told me.
Is there broker comp in here as well that's reflected? Like any type of commission?
No, because it usually comes right off the, you don't pay that.
Okay.
I mean, when I did commercial insurance, you did not,
Okay.
you didn't pay the
Coming
broker
off-
something
Coming from the,
in regards to that.
okay.
So this is our auto, it's everything except workman's comp, is that it on this?
I believe, yes. Yeah, workers' comp is in a separate section. So that's everything else, cyber,
Maybe my number's different than yours.
town official bonds, general liability, general excess liability, everything.
Mike, what are the bonds for town employees, for the town officials?
The town manager and the town clerk. It's not crazy, I think it's off the top of my head.
2,400.
How much? 2,400, yeah, it's like.
Yeah, but, so what is the bond for? To protect you?
To protect the town because they handle
Okay,
cash.
so,
It's required.
It's required.
It's something you have to do.
okay.
All bonding like that is correct, we're required by, yeah.
Tax collector as well.
Tax collector, yeah.
So anybody
Got
that
it.
handles funds,
So do these policies run our fiscal year, July 1st to June 30th?
yes.
Okay, and do they have any indication if these numbers are good or valid?
So when I asked them, they said, figure 6% increase, and that was,
6?
they said 6%, and that would be conservative, but they would try to be sure that they worked within those numbers.
So is there any, when the numbers do finally come in, because my guess is they'll probably be in next month on there, is there any negotiation with them on anything?
So they negotiate everything on our behalf with the carriers. I don't know that we can, we certainly can try.
When's the last time we RFP'd this?
What?
When is the last time we RFP'd the
2 years
service?
ago.
2 years ago, right?
The broker?
Yeah, 2 years ago?
No, it
No.
hasn't been done since I've been here.
Okay.
They also do 125 of the cities and towns in Connecticut, so they have a huge market that they work within, so, and we realize the benefit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't do an RFP to go out for bid on the insurance, the broker handles.
They
Handles.
shop it for us.
Yes.
Which is why, sometimes the numbers will deviate between the different lines because they shop different lines, so one may go up, one may go down, but they stay within the budget that they gave us, basically, or that we gave them. They'll stay within that. So, I'm pretty confident that it won't be anything more than that 6%. Just maybe that, auto may be up, GL may be down, but they'll keep within those dollar amounts is what they've described how they do it. That's what they gave for us. But I
Okay.
certainly can ask them if we can, if they can.
Sharpen
do
the
it better
pencil.
once they come to us.
Yeah.
Actually ask them for an update this month, right, for next week, I'll ask them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Okay. Next is
Probate.
probate, there's no change in that. Inland wetlands is down from this year's budget. Election,
Oh, economic development.
oh, economic development. I did have a question on this. So there's a website cost. Is economic development not part of the town's website? There's a separate website?
It is, a lot of towns will have a separate economic development website, so that's something that they've been looking at. We've identified a vendor, that has a lot of good functionality, so we're working with them to get a price, probably somewhere in the range of $5,000.
Because it's an increase of $3,000 over the current year's budget on the website. And that's
Yeah,
why-
the budget overall is down because I consolidated some of the lines. There was, trying to think from prior years. Like I dropped professional education.
Okay, I mean, what stood out was the website, because
Yeah.
I know we just did the whole thing on the town's website, and we updated and paid, and I didn't realize they had a separate website. Like, where do you find with their how do you get to their website?
It doesn't exist yet.
Oh, but we had a cost in this year's budget for a website. Is that for hosting? Was that for nothing? Just
Yeah, so there
participating?
was, prior to my arrival, they were using, they had a product called Local is Good.
Yep.
Remember that.
And upon arriving, we reviewed it and decided to discontinue it. Last year, part of the issue was that the vendor owned the domain. And so we had to work with the vendor, and we secured the domain last year.
Destination North Branford?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when this happened.
And so the plan was for this year to go live with the site, the upcoming year.
I do recall this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember Destination North Branford, Local is Good. I remember working with all those people. And so that's why I was just curious as to because it was such an increase in the website cost here, and I just thought it was part of the town's web. Because I believe on the town website, it does have Destination North Branford as.
Probably, if you click the link would be dead. It's not currently being hosted, but we secured the domain itself to be used again. So if you look, the printing and binding line is zeroed out. And the idea was, for example, working with the Ag Commission, the farm brochure at this point is several years out of date. And the reason we're looking at this vendor is because we can do kind of digital farm brochures. We can do a digital farm trail that can be updated, and so it doesn't become obsolete.
Okay. Okay. All right. Moving on to elections, 4197.
This is up in front.
So, yeah, so it has really increased the dollar amount. The part-time seasonal employees just seems like a huge increase. And I mean, I know they have the primary and they have, the mail-in ballots and then the extended voting and everything else. But this, when I look at, the hours just really seem to increase on here. And this year, the coming year, the governor election, I can't imagine is worse than the presidential election. I just don't, so is that Lisa or?
I spoke with Lisa Fitch today. Lisa Valenti will be back next week.
Okay.
In terms of the part-time, I worked with them to put their budget into Munis, so I can probably answer generally, and if you have more specifics for next week. One of the complications this year is, there are 3 voting districts in North Branford. Now the absentee, the same day, they're being treated as a 4th district that has to be staffed.
Midterm year.
And so that's part of the reason for the increase. And then a lot of the other changes this year are relative to the voting machines that, the town received, that they were given to the town, but then the ongoing maintenance, programming of the memory cards, et cetera, are all part of the town's costs. And so some of that is reflected in the increase this year.
It's amazing though, it's $13,000 increase just in printing.
Yeah, so that is.
Well, yeah, I think on when you look at the numbers for the ballots that they're ordering, it's like, so for November ballots, just the November ballots, you have 7,000. November absentee ballots, you have 3,000. Same day, well, I won't even do same day. Early
Early voting.
early voting, when you add up all those, it's way more than the number of voters that we have.
Yeah, I made some minor cuts.
Isn't that
there.
interesting?
Lisa Valenti will be able to speak to it better. There are, like, minimums that we have to get
Okay,
for some of them. Now, there's probably still some room there, but I went back and I asked the clerks for the voting data for the 2024 presidential, just to kind of use as a point of comparison, because obviously municipals are very different than
Right.
gubernatorial and presidentials. And we had something approaching, I want to say it was like 85 to 90% voter turnout. For the presidential, it was extremely high. I thought I would have been able to cut more for the November safely, but I wanted to leave sufficient cushion. But I was told that there are kind of minimums.
because
that are
like
needed.
for November, this November, early voting is 3,500 ballots, absentee is 3,000, so that's 6,500, and then 7,000 for just the regular voting day, so that's 13,500, and that's how many residents total we have in North
That's for
Branford.
the fraud
How many
procurement
are
team.
registered? So you-
8,000 something?
You'd almost think you shouldn't have one ballot more than registered voters.
Well,
Why would you
and
make
I guess
it up?
that's where the minimum.
Yeah, if you have 90% turnout and you don't know the distribution between early voting, because they're different ballots, is
Right.
also the complication. You cannot reuse them if they're not used for early voting for election day voting. And so you do need some cushion. Is
right.
there more than is needed? Probably.
Okay. All right, so we'll just, okay, and then under other purchase services, the custodial services, do we actually pay the schools? Because the custodians are there anyway that day, on the election day and the primary day.
Well, I guess do we have any extended hours? No, the schools are technically off for some days, right?
No.
No? No?
Well, they are in November, but the
November.
custodians are there, they still have
Regardless.
a night
That's
shift
true.
and whatever else, so.
Can find out.
Yeah. I mean-
Just, are we, because it's, like, if we're paying here, I'm sure the Board of Ed also has it in their budget. So it's like they probably don't adjust their budget if we actually are paying for it. And, let's see. Oh, and repairs and maintenance. Is that what you were talking about before let me see ones were.
Unminded.
Oh, yeah, on 54,300, that is up like over $3,000.
Yeah, a lot of it is the programming costs. Initially, their budget had about 30 line items in this that were all direct from the state. Individual processes, 5 or 6 processes for November, 5 for the primaries, 5 for the referendums. So I consolidated them into the total cost, but that was direct from the Secretary of State.
Okay. All right. Next account is 4199, employee benefits. So what is 52020, employee leave liability? What is that?
That's what we budget every year in case somebody leaves that has accumulated sick or vacation time. Rather than charge the departments, we charge this account. Also, there are people who are able to, if they have accrued vacation that they're not using, get paid out for. Again, it charges this line versus the department account.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, but when you look at the historical data,
It varies on how actually people leave. That's what kind of drives it. We use 120 as kind of like an average number. This year, I think we're right on track. We're actually a hair over 120 currently.
okay.
If you have somebody with a large bank of sick, it could be a significant number.
Okay, and so how is the retirement contribution the DB, people that are on DB, how is that calculated?
We have the latest actuary number, I don't have it in front of me, but we have whatever the number is, and I did add this year, because I think last year we got burned where there was like overtime and other functions that weren't calculated in there. So I did add some additional hours in there, whether it was overtime for the public works person or some additional work that the public works secretary does, that's pension applicable. Those are built in there, and that's why they're charged to this department versus the home department. We've done that for the last maybe 5 or 6 years, where the percentage got so high out of whack, it was actually more than the person, it's like 2 times what the person makes, the contribution that the town's, it's like 211% last year, I believe. So
Well,
really-
yeah, if you take this number and there's only 4 people
Right.
in the DB, and you take that number and divide it by 4, that, I mean, just to get
It's
an
big.
average, it's
Oh, yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
That's the number the actuary gives us every year when they come to do their presentation in November. It's just, as fewer people are in that plan, as a percentage payroll, it's gonna go sky high. Because the obligations are there for people that have retired 30 years ago, they're still getting their pension.
Yeah.
But there's fewer people working to pay in. Got the social security nightmare, right? Everybody's getting social security, no one's working to pay into it. So for people in that DB pension, as the last person's in there, it's gonna be it's gonna be just basically a significant amount of money that's gonna be divided by percentage of payroll.
So this is going into the DB account?
Right, not to the person.
Okay, that's,
Yeah, not to the person.
That's correct. The 4 people are the
I was asking the
payees.
same question.
Yeah,
The,
no.
the payor. The payee is everyone on the balance of the pension itself.
Right, all the prior
So, yeah.
retirees that are out there getting
Yeah,
pension.
correct.
Again, as there are fewer and
Oh,
fewer
I thought
people
you-
active in
I
it.
see what you thought.
yeah.
Yeah, not-
Like,
I-
job.
because there's
I-
only
I wish it
4,
was that.
there's only 4 people listed
but it's
here.
not.
So that's why I was like, wow,
You're
this
paying
is.
for the past,
And-
benefits of the.
The liability thereof.
Okay,
Right.
Yes.
okay, all right.
Exactly.
Sorry, Anthony.
How close
You
to
don't get
being
an extra
fully
200 grand.
funded is
Not
that
good.
pension?
Well,
It's
we're,
65. We're increasing.
yeah,
It's getting better.
yeah.
It's-
We're definitely, we're.
So in other
I-
words, we're gonna, after these 4 are retired, we're still gonna be paying that.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
until,
yeah.
you don't stop paying it until people expire.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then also, where are the employee, I guess, the buyouts on the insurance? I know there's only 3 groups
It's
that,
in the 52,800
okay,
medical insurance line.
okay.
Okay.
So
Oh, shoot.
can we
Get
get a breakdown by, because I know Public Works doesn't get it, library doesn't get it, correct?
Well, I think the sheet I gave previously, I think to Roy, it was had the Teamsters people, the state plan people, and the buyout people. Those are the 3 basic groups we have of medical insurance. People on the state plan, the clerical union, and the police union. People on the Teamsters plan would be the administrators, public works, and library, and then the people that are the buyouts, the payment in lieu of benefits.
Right.
I have
But,
that for you.
okay, but 2 of them are bargaining units. So it's tied into their collective bargain, their CBA. So those are probably tough to do anything yet if they're, because we'd have to open up their contract in order to do something with it. Because I know we touched on this last year, we started talking about this, because of the percentage that they get on the buyout.
Yeah.
So we need to see, by contract, or, you know, and in the case of the administrators, it's just, because they don't have a contract, it's just who's on it, who gets it, so that we can look at that and see once what we can do in regards to that. So if you can
No
get us
problem.
that would be great.
What
Okay.
account was that,
It-
Anthony?
52,800 medical
Yeah.
insurance.
Based on SVP email, 3927.
Well, that's SPP is the state partnership
Yeah.
plan, so that's, so they base the increase, or,
No, the negative, it's a decrease.
well, because I think their original, they were thinking
The original
11.
contract, when they first started talking about it, was 14%. Then they came back and said 11.5%. And then the last time, the final number is like 9.5%. It really came down.
So that's why there's the 93,223.
That's why that's why it's reduced.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Because they got,
The
It just
latest
happened when it-
information, yep.
When the budget had been rolled to me already, that's why there's a decrease.
Understood.
okay.
9.3%.
Okay, on to police, 4201. Okay. So, I know we've gone over some of this when the police department did their workshop and presented. The one that, the account that has a lot of flexibility or more flexibility than others is usually the retirement account. Only because the police department has, some of the police officers are on the defined contribution plan and some are on defined benefit. So there's a whole process that the chief has to go through when he's calculating, because on overtime, he never knows. It's a best guess estimate who's gonna take the overtime. And their contract, their pension contract is also up for renewal. And I think for purposes of the budget, we just based it on their current contract because their new one will not be settled by the time we have to finalize budget. So, Chief, that's what you did, right? You took current contract and based your calculation on the plan as it states right now? Okay. And I know that, so it's account 52,320, retirement pension contribution. So the town manager also, he already took $150,000 out of this based on where they're at, on prior actuals. But can you explain what this actuarial adjustment, this 0.625 to 0.757, what is that?
That's again, going back similar to what you saw on the defined benefit for the town employees. This is the latest calculation that the actuary came in and told us at our November meeting of the pension committee.
Correct.
This is the latest, 7.57 is the latest number, based on the latest actuarial evaluation.
0.757 of what though?
Payroll,
So on the,
pension applicable payroll. In the case of the police department, it's all taxable earnings.
on
Pension
the,
applicable,
so the people that are on the defined benefit.
correct, yes,
The payroll of those officers that are on defined benefit,
correct.
okay? And it's, so,
Prior year was the 61.6% was the match that the chief had to put in there. This year, now the match per the actuarial evaluation is 75.7%. If you recall at that pension meeting, it was driven by, we had an early retiree that went on disability pension early, and that kind of skewed their calculation and required more now to bring it up to speed.
okay. All right.
So similar to, like I said, what you saw on the defined benefit on the town side, those are actuarial, calculations that we pay people a lot of money to calculate for us.
Okay, so on the backup sheet that's provided for us here, Chief, do you think, I know there's 150 already taken out of here. Do you think that there's that there's more room in this account? And I know it's a crapshoot. And what the council instituted last year for police pension is that, because these are all estimates and they do, it's based on historical data and they do their estimates based on that. But this is also driven by overtime, because that's part of their, and the chief never knows who's, you know, is it someone on defined benefit or defined contribution? So it's a best guess estimate on his part. But what we did do starting last year is that if there's any money left in the pension account at the end of the fiscal year, instead of that money going back into the general fund, it gets paid directly towards the pension, because we're underfunded anyway. We have to make that pay, we're gonna have to make that money up at some point in time.
It's not going away.
It's not going away. And so so the council had voted to take anything that's left over in the pension account and make the payment directly to pension. And last year, it was about $147,000 that we ended up paying directly to pension. It was budgeted, the money was there, so we paid it directly to pension.
Drop down our liabilities.
On there. So based on this sheet here, I see you have it broken down as to how you got the bulk of that number in there.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of different formulas that go to this one, so there's hard costs to this that we definitely know. If you're looking at my sheet and you go down to the third column where I have sworn, you see employee defined benefit. That's a hard cost of 884. That's their salaries totaled up, multiplied times the actuarial assumption is 0.757.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a hard number of 884. I consider a hard number that should be covered.
Okay.
The one below it is for, those are, I have them separated by personnel. Those are all the employees that are in the 401A. So they're multiplied at a 0.10, their salaries, so that's their cost that the town attributes into the retirement program. The one variable that you really have in here, outside of all of the other numbers on the, and I hate confusing you, but I run a lot of different scenarios on the screen. But the one real variable that you have here is department overtime and holidays. So for the entire department, sworn personnel, their overtime totals, and this is vacation, personal days, 6 days, I'm talking everything, that's just one cumulative pop, you're at 720,936. So so that calculation that sits right next to it, the 545,749, that's a multiplier of 0.757. But that's counting for the entire department, right? So the entire department is not defined benefit. So right now, we're running about 10 on defined benefit and 15 on 401A. So that's about 40%. So I would say this is where it gets tricky as for me and for the council to come up with a number is, well, if you say it's at 40%, do you go under the math theory that we multiply the overtime by 0.4 and come up with an assumption of what that cost is gonna be?
Dangerous.
Use 0.5 and give yourself a little wiggle room. I mean, this is really a basis for the nine of you to, or you just fund it at the 757 and pay the higher cost and write it out. That's up to you too. But the 545, 749 is worst case scenario. And that's, unless I start having different rules come from the council, I can give you different numbers, but that's, I'm based on worst case.
I agree with what you're doing. I think if you go.
Yeah, but if you know that only 40% is defined benefit, I think that's a safe assumption.
The last couple of years, we started turning the corner where
Yeah.
defined benefit now became the minority or lower percentage, and the 401A was a higher percentage.
Right.
Now we're starting to get to that situation where.
So for next week, can we have, like, where are you this year? And what do you anticipate? Because you have X number of payrolls left.
Right.
And you can, kind of estimate what that payroll is going.
Yes, but that said, the liability is still there, and we're, as we already indicated, we're always underfunded to the pension. It's one of the negative parts of the pension plan. It may be better to kind of preemptively save and know that we're gonna put that extra into the pension account, thus limiting our liabilities in the future. If we can, I know it's a somewhat of a.
But we
big
did,
nut.
we did that last year, and we were.
Put extra money in.
Yeah.
And we
exactly.
did, and so I think getting the information of where they're at for this year because we did reduce it last year
Right,
also.
If we have that information, we'll probably make a
Yeah.
better decision.
Yeah, so we'll get
You
that
can
information.
define it better, absolutely.
I can get that for you, if you have some theories on what you're thinking, that I could come in with assumption of numbers, I mean, it's just tables and formulas on a spreadsheet, right? So if there's something, some kind of guidance or suggestions you want to give me, I can have those for you to give you kind of better numbers, but remember this 545,749 has already been reduced by 150K also, so that's.
Right.
That's not reflective because that came after me and then the town manager.
Correct.
So you're down to, let's just call it 400 to make it easy math, right?
Right.
So you're down money already out of that line item.
But the 545 is worst case scenario, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, but you've already.
But it was.
It's already been
It's
reduced
been
to the town
reduced.
manager end, so really you're at 400, so now you're off of that worst case, yeah.
Correct, by
You're
150K.
moving the ball down the other direction.
You might be, we talked about this the other night where we're,
I probably wouldn't take any more than 50 to 75 more out of there until.
Yeah, once you get the numbers, then we'll have a better idea.
Rob and Peter to pay Paul.
What's the 720?
720 is all their, so I have to budget all their, so they get personal days by their CBA, that's calculated by their hourly rate, depending on their rank, their sick time, their vacation time, their contractual holiday pay, so everything their CBA that they get, we calculate that out line item by line item per personnel. And then that comes into an entire formula that comes in total. Plus the standard overtime, which you account for covering those different.
Right. So, okay.
I have a whole page on it too.
So if you can bring us two scenarios, one at the 40%, because that's how many, and one at 50%, if we just give a little bit of leeway on there.
All right, what I'll also do is show the cut in there next time too, so you can see where that
Okay.
number is.
And then we'll have the other information of where they're at for this year on there.
So it's a 720 times 0.757, and that's where that 545 came from?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you could ask Anthony from December on, I'm calling like every 2 days, because I know that's the biggest driver, right? That's gonna be a big number in budget.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know that the other, at our February meeting, when we talked about the Axon contract, which is for the tasers and the body cams and everything, and you explained all of that, and that is an increase of $75,000 in our budget, which we took care of last week when we made the correction to add that. But you had also talked about at the budget workshop that you were looking at other funding sources. Can you just explain what you were thinking about that?
We've had dinner on this, right, Tom? So I've identified an account that has some funds in it that I think is applicable to go towards a purchase like this. And one of those accounts is the extra duty account. So what happens is when an officer goes and works a road job, we don't know which officer's gonna take it, almost like which officer's gonna take the overtime to the department. So it gets charged at with an actuarial rate, because the money goes back into the pension. But if they're not DB pension employees, then it goes into this extra duty fund. So there's plenty of money in that fund to sustain it a number of years without anything being added to it today. So I think that's a good use of the money, if we could transfer from that extra duty fund to cover that cost without costing the taxpayers any increase in that plan.
So Anthony, does that,
It's perfect.
is that doable?
Anything's doable.
Okay.
Doesn't hurt you, Jim?
What's that?
Doesn't hurt you at all?
No, it's a separate account on really on Anthony's side that goes to the finance department.
So we're using the money that has accumulated in that account.
It's almost like a reserve account like we used to pay for vehicles to replace patrol vehicles or something like that. That's where it lives. So the officers still get paid, they get all their money, it's just accumulated extra funds at the time.
Weren't we using that for something else, and something else for that?
Police vehicle use we're using for that.
Yeah.
There's a second piece that this.
Oh, okay.
This is the part for the payroll And then
Well,
there's the billing for the police vehicles.
Well, we are using that account for
Yeah,
something else.
that's what I
It's
thought.
for the events, because that extra duty cops, like the Poco Fest, the Memorial Day Parade, the tree lighting.
Correct.
Athletic events. So when those events have to hire a cop, a police officer, they get billed the hourly rate, and then they're tacked on this enormous administrative fee of,
6%.
it's 76% on top of that. And these are all town events. You know, we're not talking the road jobs, they still get it, whatever. So this was a discussion a couple years ago that the council had. So on town events, the extra duty part, the admin fee part of the invoice would get paid out of this account, this extra duty account. So there's a bill we'll use POCO, because they use all the police officers and they have the shifts. So just their regular pay, to cover their pay for POCO, $15,000. Now, on top of that $15,000, you now add 75% admin fee on top of that. So now the bill is $20-some thousand.
Well, I'm asking a dumb question. Why charge it?
There you go. That's what we said too. I've been asking that question for years. Why do we charge it? Because that's the way it's always been done.
That must be your right. I mean, it just seems silly.
It does, because what happens is you get the bill for all of that stuff, then Anthony has to come to the council to tell us that there's enough money in the extra duty fund to reimburse the admin charge.
Right, so if we stop charging that, then we can go back to finance and stuff and probably reduce the budget a little bit more, you know?
So the other part of this is, because I've had the talk with the chief in regards to this, is we kind of know in a year's time, what athletics, the bills for athletics, the POCO, the tree lighting, Memorial Day Parade, the town type of things is, so let's say it's $30,000. And that includes the pay to the police officers. Is just at the beginning of the year, take $30,000 from this account, put it into an account, and that's.
It's almost better if you just give me a line item in my overtime budget, because then so when I hire officers to do that, we don't pay 76% on top of what we already hired them for, but might be a cleaner one if that's what we decide to go in the future.
Yeah, I mean,
Something we need to clean up.
Yeah, we definitely,
And we don't do it because we get past this and we're like, I don't want to touch the budget again, but.
We talked about it again.
Yeah, because we're past it, but we should probably
No,
clean it up.
it's-
next year.
it's not an
Something to
SOP.
consider.
So do we have to go through some type of, hearing for that? Does it have to go
No,
through? So
no.
it's something that Rory can change?
well, the
Well, I mean,
council has to vote on
Council can
it.
vote it, but you can get it set up to change it?
Unless there's an ordinance.
We'll check that
I-
with Brian.
I don't think there was an
is.
ordinance, because
That's what I was asking.
we did it a couple years ago when for the
Yeah.
whole admin charge piece.
And talk to Brian about that and.
Because that was my point, is.
Come back to us
If
with
you
that.
don't do it, the POCO happens in August, but Anthony might not come to the council for us to okay that the admin fee doesn't get paid. Well, they've already taken it out of all the accounts, and now it's a journal entry that everything has to go back.
All right, we're gonna fix that.
So let's just not do it. Yeah.
Carry on.
So, okay, so the $75,000 accent increase, that can definitely be a cut that
Good thing.
that everyone, I think, we'll do it in a formal motion, but is it the general consensus of the council that you're all in favor of
Do we want
taking?
to
Do
do
we
a
want to
motion
show it
now?
as
No.
an expense here with a transfer in the revenue section?
However you have to do it.
Okay. Because it really is an expense that should be shown here.
Right, well,
We're
that's
just
why,
funding it from-
that's why we had to put it into the
Right.
budget, so that we had the true cost in the budget.
Gotcha.
on there. So, okay. All right, that's all I have for police.
Can I
Does
just
it?
ask one question?
Nope, you're done.
You're using the Munis, you must have a separate module of Munis to do the scheduling, and I think it's 4,000, is that a yearly thing, or do you, once you buy it, you use it?
Yeah, we're split it between, I think it's technology, so we split the cost between.
Everything in Munis is annual.
Every module?
There's often an implementation cost on top of it, a one-time implementation cost, but then each module has an annual cost.
So that would be a yearly fee?
It's like a license fee to use the program. So if there's any updates, you automatically get those updates.
All software is
Yeah,
moving in this direction if
right.
it's not
Yeah.
already there.
Even the other vendors we looked at outside of Munis, they were all annual.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything for police? Okay, thank you. All right, fire. I know Chief Lennon is on vacation, so who's in the hot seat?
Chief Klansler.
Ah. Okay. So I noticed that there's, you know, a large increase in the account 51620, the part-time seasonal employee. And I know there's been some restructuring.
Yes.
In regards to that. I personally have a hard time doing everything in 1 year on every, you know, there's a huge increase in some salaries. And everything else. So I would like to propose that the fire department or the fire commission comes back to us with what you can cut from what the dollar amount is, because it's a 21,000 just in this account that's up, but some of these salaries are also split into the ambulance. So if you took that, it's actually more than 21 because some of those salaries are split. It would be another 18,000 that is already put over there. So that you're talking $40,000 into this account.
Just, you know, just for clarification, there was 2 deputy chiefs added that are intricate to our day-to-day operation. There's also an increase in the firefighter stipends. The fire service instructors, EMS instructors, deputy fire marshals, deputy fire chiefs. There has not been any increases in most of those ranks since, I believe, 2008, from the best of my recollection. But to your point, we'll bring it back to the committee
And
staff.
I totally understand that, but I think we need to do a phase-in.
Understand.
And
Do you have a
instead
dollar
of-
amount on that, or?
We'd like to see how creative you can be. I mean, I would, I don't know about anyone else.
I'd like to see the commission come back to us, not, you
Yeah.
know, it's one of 2 commissions that run autonomously. We'd like to see what they can do.
Okay.
In regards to that and what your proposal is, but, you know.
Chief, when was the last time there was adjustments?
It's about, I believe it was 2008. Anthony, can you?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was a while.
Yeah.
That's the last time, it was 2008?
The
And so-
deputies were brought up about 3 years ago, right, Ant?
Yeah.
Because of when the chief left, and we divided our responsibilities up. But that was probably the last increase. With the firefighters, the instructors, the deputy fire marshals, haven't gotten anything over those years. But I understand your.
Yeah, I just, you know, I think it needs to be spread out. I'm certainly not looking that they don't get anything.
No.
But I think
Don't
we
feel that
need,
way.
we need to have it in more of a, if it can be mapped out over 2 or 3 years, whatever the case may be, when you look at it, and to become creative with that, that would be great. And so I see, so this is an account where the fuel is back in, so the vehicle fuel is put back into all of the accounts, is that it? All right.
For everything, yeah, everything, apparatus.
So are we locked into fuel prices? I know now's not the time to lock into it, of course, but
Hopefully we'll be able to, soon.
have we locked in it? I know we've locked in the past. When's the last time? Were we locked in this year?
We locked in, this year we're locked in.
Okay,
However, we've exceeded the quantities, so we are paying market price right now in some areas.
okay.
Once you've gone over the quantities of which we were locked, so we had X amount of gallons locked in.
Yes, you lock in
We've gone over those
some
gallons.
Specific price.
Heating fuel because of the winter
Correct,
this year.
correct. So once you go past that, they can bring it back to market price.
Yeah.
They don't give a phase in it. Okay.
We didn't lock next year yet because obviously there's a kind of hoping that.
Now's not the time to do it.
Yeah,
Um,
we're locked in market price a little bit.
yeah.
Okay.
Is that
Okay.
something we go out to bid on?
So
Do we bid it?
So, we piggyback off state contract, but get pricing over, we get pricing consistently and we can lock at any given time. And there's a formula that they use over the, like the Harbor Low, or some percentage that they use. But it's all based on the actual price per gallon of this barrel of oil. So right now, we've been tracking it, but it's through the roof, so there's no lock yet. This is the better way to do it versus trying to go out to bid on a specific day and time, because then you're stuck with that day and time. You get a lot, whereas now we can sort of gather pricing over a period of time, and as the trends got going down, we can then lock.
And so do they let you lock in based on prior usage, or you can pick a number? What happens?
So we look at prior usage and then lock in those gallons, give or take. I mean, this year is a lot because we used a lot more heating fuel because it was a cold winter. I'm not sure, and we've got bigger, public works is bigger and police, whatever. So, I mean, we'll have to see what number we pick to lock, what gallonage we select.
So what happens if you lock, let's say you lock in for 10,000 gallons and you don't use 10,000 gallons? Are you on the hook for the, whatever you don't use?
We had to pay to have it shipped. A couple of years ago, we overbid.
During COVID, that was,
Yeah.
there was a lot of that.
We had to pay, our gallons were at the dock waiting for us. We had to pay to have them shipped and stored somewhere. It was expensive if you overshoot.
Yeah, okay,
So it's better to be a little bit under than
okay,
over. I
okay.
mean, they will let you roll it probably into July, but anything beyond that, they won't get charged you a price per gallon storage fee or something like that.
Okay. So just, on fire, if you, because the stipends are broken out between part-time, seasonal, and then also retirement, because some take it in, or is it other purchase services? I'm sorry, other purchase services. So if you do anything on the stipends in the part-time, you have to do the same under other purchase services, so that they stay the same.
That was reduced if you see.
I see that. I also see the percent of increase that it went up that was proposed, so I took that into consideration. So, does anyone else have any questions? Yep.
When we talked last, I asked about washers and dryers, and I think you said for everybody you had like one washer and no dryers. So I didn't see it in this, I may have missed it.
It's in capital.
Oh,
This is their operating.
yeah, so that's in capital?
Yes.
I didn't even see it in capital.
It's listed there, but it's not,
Yeah.
it's not proposed from the town manager, but we have line item say
Okay.
that if we want to put it in, we can.
Good, okay, thank you.
Yeah, I do have some capital questions, but we can wait on that. We'll just get
Thank you.
through all this. Does anyone else have any questions for fire at all? Okay, you're good? All right, on ambulance, this is always a crapshoot here on the ambulance fund. So as we've all heard, we are never gonna make money on ambulance. It's just the amount of, but it's always funded. Like, we will never have that we don't send an ambulance out because we don't have any money. It's always funded, correct, on here? So I see that the cost went up $75,000 from last year, on here. And I know you now have a deputy chief for EMS, right? That will, what's the duty of that person? Does it have anything to do with?
All the tasks pertain to EMS. He's the direct liaison with our third-party contractor. He interacts with the company officers, helps with the scheduling.
So
basically-
is this an area that he will look at as far as the company that you use for billing?
Absolutely.
Your rate of return on that, that type of thing? On there, and make recommendations to the fire
He'll
commission?
get analytics, get them to the fire commissioners for their meetings.
Okay, which I know that deputy chief, I believe is, because he's sitting here, is a new position, correct? For, it's part of the reorg that
Yes.
you did, right?
Yep.
On there. So who was doing it before? Or was it not being, it was kind of loosely being done?
Well, we get the reports, right, from
Comstar.
Comstar, where we just went over the bills the other day, actually, some of the delinquent bills. But they provide a report. We have our payer mix, percentage of rate increase, and then all the funds or all the bills that we decide whether they go to collection or not. We try to be generous with our elderly population in North Branford. But those are things we have to monitor. We do have a pretty decent collection rate with our payer mix in town.
Okay.
But 901s, you're just not gonna make the money 100%. Whereas the commercial services has the chair car service, livery service, and interfacility transfers. So unfortunately, we leave a little money there with that, but we're providing a level of service that's way better than what most communities will, support.
So our EMS, is it strictly just 911 calls, or do they do some of those other?
No,
EMS.
strictly.
911 calls.
Our
It's
license
just-
with the state is only 911 emergency calls. We don't do the transports that Bob's referring to.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay, because that's
That's the
where-
bread and butter,
Okay,
but we don't do that.
okay, all right,
Doing that would overwhelm our system. We wouldn't have paramedics to do the emergencies.
okay, all right. Okay, all right, I don't have any other questions on
good.
ambulance. Okay, you're done. Thank you.
No problem.
Building department, 4213. The only thing that I saw is, so we have, travel reimbursement here. There is a town vehicle that they use most of the time, but in case one is not in need or here that they can use, they have allowed mileage reimbursement. But in looking at the historical data, we haven't paid it in 3 years to the person. So I personally, I think this is something that can be cut. And if we have to pay that he has a vehicle, he just submits mileage reimbursement and
Yeah,
we'll just pay it.
that's fair to do that, and it's an honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that he's not gonna get
No, of
reimbursed.
course not.
Or the
Yeah.
person, it's just why budget for something that you haven't paid for 3 years.
Yeah, it's not very much, but still.
Yeah. Okay. Next one is animal control, there's no change. Communications, that has been combined with the police department. So, is this the first year or the second year?
This is the second year.
So it's there, but there's nothing. Emergency management is here. I didn't see anything in regards to this. I mean, it's a small budget.
Budgeted 7,
Well, it's
15.
It's budget, this year it's budgeted at 24, and next year it's proposed at 16. So, and I saw on here, so that, you know, it's a part-time position, it's so much a month in regards to that, but there is a grant that we can apply for and get, and I saw in the data that, so we didn't get it last year, but it's projected that we should be able to get it for this year, and the grant is actually more than what the salary is in here, so that grant basically pays for this position.
Additional?
Additional
part of the grant to utilize in other areas?
Well, it goes, I believe the grant, how does the grant, does it?
Any emergency grants, whether you use your salary, you can use phone.
You can use it for other
costs-
things.
Any costs you
Okay,
have that are
good.
emergency operations.
Okay, that's
So
what I
you can
thought.
use it for someplace else
Okay, good.
in the budget.
But we know we don't know that for certain.
I read it someplace.
Yeah, we have
and
this, the money's budgeted. What happened this year, we didn't have our local operations plan filed, so that's why the state didn't give us the money. But talking to Mark today, we had a meeting at the police station. He's gonna have it done to be able to get it.
So right now we have it budgeted, but this will budget out to 0.
Well, we get it, it's a revenue.
Yeah, revenue.
Yeah.
That comes in. So the revenue
Will
will,
offset the cost.
well,
of the
not the
position.
total cost, but
Not
it
total.
offsets the salary that we
Salary
pay.
cost, correct.
And we have a little bit extra
Okay, good.
on there.
Good.
Okay, fire hydrants. This one just really always kills me with Regional Water Authority in our town, and we
Yeah, I don't
get
understand
a
this.
whole lot of benefit, but we certainly are paying a lot for fire hydrants.
Well, why is that? Why is it that the very water that we're sending to New Haven that has encompassed or at least half our town has not benefited this town whatsoever? Why is that not something we can negotiate?
We actually have a meeting set up with the Regional Water Authority.
On Thursday morning.
This week, we, I think, intend to broach that subject, but I'm not terribly optimistic.
Is there something that we can push the hand on? I mean, is there, it just feels like
Yeah.
Regional Water Authority's taken advantage of North Branford since 1912.
Yeah,
It
I
might
mean,
be
it's
time.
structured the same way in other municipalities. To your point, other municipalities don't have a very large reservoir taking up a third of
Right.
the town.
Yeah, we get a very nominal amount of tax offset for it, which is something that I don't think we can do much with other than.
Well, there's actually a
squaw.
hearing on Thursday in regards to the pilot program, also because the state, OPEB, took away some of our property.
Correct.
And is reducing, and the assessor filed an appeal, and there's
Yeah,
a
it-
hearing on Thursday.
It just feels like we've been abused by this for quite some time.
Plus they don't even take care of all the fire hydrants.
Yeah. Is there a way that we can engage our town attorney to look towards other ways to have the Regional Water Authority be a better neighbor within our town?
Well, we're meeting on Thursday with
Yeah,
them, so
I
let's
think-
do that first.
I'd like to
Trying to address
understand
it
what
directly
happens there.
with them is probably our better bet.
Yeah, I'd like to know what goes on in there.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Jeff, we went down the road with the attorneys and stuff, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago.
New laws, better attorneys.
We lost.
I'm sure, but there are ways.
We lost.
Yeah, we lost.
Media
Not
is
only that,
very,
Not only did we lose, when it got into court,
I understand that,
and I'll paraphrase.
but media is very different now.
Court,
Yeah,
their response was, and I'll put it out there like the answer I saw.
yeah.
The rich people of North Branford are not gonna benefit on the backs of the poor people of New Haven.
Yeah.
And that's what the judge said.
Not in so many words.
That's cute.
but that's what he said.
That's Al paraphrasing.
Yeah. Good paraphrase, thanks, Al. All
And we
right,
lost bad. And we should have won.
yeah.
The pilot program was set up so that we could tax everything that they had before they became a regional water authority at its current value, just like some of these old houses taxed.
Yeah.
okay? So we're like, oh, great, we have a dam, it's 1,500 feet long, 100 feet deep, 90 feet thick. And at the time, they had a value of like 300,000 on it. And it's like, are you nuts? So it's like, I didn't know how we could lose, we lost. So, because it would easily be a $300 million dam if you had to build it today, and it would take you longer than it's been there to get a permit to do it today. But the judge gave us zero value for it.
Sure, but, you know.
But I
Different
agree,
methodology
we
today.
should look at it, and we should at least be able to walk around the lake more than one day a year.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of,
Yeah,
it's
so
just, yeah.
Rory and I
absolutely.
do have a meeting set. They reached out to us actually, so.
That's good.
So,
That's lovely. Let's see what happens there.
yeah.
Al, I think the next time you retire from the council, you can save Totucket TV, because you can have your new show, as Al sees it.
I'd watch that
They'd
show.
probably start making money.
Get some censorship on it, but it would be good.
Okay, the next is the other consolidated maintenance cost center. Does anyone have any questions in regards to operating the same as the other one, but only this is maintenance items, so it's,
No.
okay. Public Works, we're on to Public Works. Okay. So,
Daniel?
Franny, are you fully staffed? Because I know you had a big transition period, people left and retired, whatever. Are you back to
Yeah.
being fully staffed? And then you just have your regular summer help, correct? Okay. All right. So, but the first thing I want to look at is on the front page, account, let me see what's here. Account 54304, it's vehicle maintenance. So this didn't make sense to me because it's around 16,000. But the budgeted amount for this year shows 48,052. I went in last year's budget and I looked, this is, the 48,052 is not what we approved in the budget. That was not the number presented to it, it was like 15,000 something. So I was trying to find, where did the other $33,000 come from?
Some of it came from Jimmy. This is one of those things that got caught up in the whole consolidation, what's in, what's out. The other problem we have is some departments call 54,300 maintenance, and it could be anything from vehicles to copiers, whatever. So we're trying to steer everybody towards the 54,304 as solely the vehicle piece going forward, and 54,300 for maintenance on equipment or anything else that could break. So yeah, that's one of those items that got kind of wishy-washy this year.
Okay.
Vehicle maintenance. The bottom line of the budget is right, it's how it got put in and segregated to the public works versus the departments. It was not good.
Okay.
Is this the first year for that, man?
For the 54,304, yeah. Yep.
No, we can finish it. No, we can just finish this off and that's fine. Okay, then,
Oh, hold on a second, hold
Yep.
on 1 second. So where would it be in Jimmy's budget?
It would have been, well, it was budgeted in Jimmy's budget, but the council passed. On the munis, it got put into Department 4301 for Fran, Sub-Department 4201, 54,304. So it just, it's identifiable, it's a mess.
it got moved around a lot and this is where it ended up.
No, but I was wondering, shouldn't we see it like,
So Jimmy
in
should have a
police
decrease
budget?
in-
Yeah, that's what I was looking for, I don't see it.
In Jimmy's,
Unless I don't know where I'm looking, that's the other thing too, you know? I don't
I'll spell it out for you. I'll make a sheet for that one too. 'Cause
Okay.
It's a mess.
okay, so, let's see here. Okay, the record management upkeep, is that your record management system?
Yeah,
Okay, so I see that's a huge increase from 120 a month to 330. And just an explanation as to why.
We had added one or two divisions onto it.
Divisions meaning what?
Meaning, I think we have the grounds of the tree in there now. We started off with just highway and building maintenance, then we added the tree and the grounds division to it. I believe, and I want to say it was under budgeted
Okay.
last year. We've had them in for 2 years now, but it wasn't reflected
So,
in the
so
actual amount.
what is this system? Is it where other departments or whatever
Yes, so-
put in a work order? Is that
Yeah,
how you
so-
track it?
So Carrie could put in a work request for a broken light switch. We approve it. Kenny goes out, fixes it,
Yeah, we've talked.
and now it's in the system. Same with road work. A resident calls in for a driveway apron issue. Someone goes out, takes a picture, makes a work order. We do it, it goes in as complete. And it's also the cloud storage, so they call back in 8 years and say, you know, you were here 8 years ago and did my apron. We could look back to Greystone Road and see that it was done or it wasn't done.
So is this also used then for like the Board of Ed? Like if you have to do grounds when you're striping feet, you know, anything like that, any grounds maintenance for?
Not preventative, no.
Okay. Does it do it during the season when they call and say, we need this field done?
no.
None of that. So it has nothing to do with that?
No.
Okay.
One day it could be maybe, depending on where their maintenance goes, if their person takes a picture of a broken curb and requests it to be fixed, maybe.
Okay.
But right now, that's just,
Okay. It's just on the town site?
yeah.
Okay. And so I see there's 2 new items here in this same account. Vehicle equipment towing and recovery and equipment transportation, because those were not in last year's budget.
Correct.
And what is that for?
So we put towing in this year because our old contractor is no longer around, so we're paying
Miss Timmy.
significantly more money for tows. So we were just taking it out of our regular operating budget, but it's a significant number now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you just added some line items. Okay.
And so we put it in there to cover it, and then the other one is because we lost another truck. So in order to get our equipment around, we have to contract to move it out.
For the towing, do we keep, like, in the back of the day, Timmy took care of us.
What was
Now,
that again?
back in the day, Timmy took care of us with towing.
Well, yeah,
Now,
the
do we keep,
prices are two different.
of course, totally different. I mean, totally different.
Yeah.
Are we keeping to one, you know, kind of one firm, or are we moving different firms?
Maybe one pretty local person.
Well, you need, I mean, because you need to be able to tow big, heavy.
Big items.
So like, you know, the other
Respond.
Yeah.
the storms that we had, the big storms, we had probably 4 or 5.
We did 4, and that's what we based it on.
4 tows just then.
Okay.
Really?
All right, okay, and then, so under here, this also is snow plowing, is in this account. And I see you budgeted 30,000 and the town manager was very kind to you and took 11,000 out of there, and brought it down. But I know you gave us an update as to where you stood in this year's budget. And from that information, you know, one snowstorm, you paid $30,000 to contractors. So we're already below the 8 ball. You know, we're behind the 8 ball on this. And to cut that much out of snow plowing, I think, and we can have a discussion, is to put some money back in here. Because I'm afraid we're going to get, I mean, all you need is one storm and
Well, yeah,
we're
I
already.
mean, it's the amount of snow, you know, depending on the amount.
And I know it's a crapshoot and it's a guessing game.
If it's over a foot, 18, 20 inches, then, you know, the schools are an issue for us because we're out on the roads. And then we get contractors help on the roads depending on the size. But, you know, significant money goes toward the school snow removal. Everybody's got it.
Definitely would want you to have extra instead of not enough.
Well, so I think it's just,
You know,
yeah, something that we should think about and next week or by the time we finalize the budget, we should think about whether we want to put some money back
It's one of
into.
those things you pay me now or you pay me later.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna get done either way, it's just, what do you have to give up later on
This year
to?
here, we're gonna be, Anthony's gonna be killing me, but, you know, we have to find money to make myself whole. So between contractors, extra help, salt.
Oh, yeah. So,
fuel's big.
so salt,
Repairs.
salt isn't.
Repairs?
Repairs is out of control.
Right, so if I look at the numbers correctly, I know in the past, we generally, on salt, we have budgeted for 2,500 ton is like a standard for the year on there, so that whatever we use during the winter, you can replenish and start off the next year with a full.
Yeah, it's historical data, I mean,
Right.
it's not about how much snow is falling.
Because you salt.
You don't use a lot of salt when you get 2 feet of snow.
No.
You use it at the beginning and at the end.
Yeah.
So when you got a small ice storm, you're using just as much salt
Yeah.
as an ice, well, probably more than a 20-inch storm.
You have decades of data on that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, weather's changed, but the patterns are kind of there.
So if I read this correctly, you already reduced your budget from the historical data of 2,500 ton to 2,074 ton. That was your budget amount. And then the town manager took a cut from salt and cut another 426 tons out of that 2,074.
I
think that was
No, that was the cut. So we had 2,500 budgeted.
Oh, okay.
The 426 which brought it to the 2,074.
Oh, okay, that's what I was, because I'm looking at this and trying to read the notes, and I'm like, going down to 1,600, that,
So which number's right, the 205,000 or the 170,000?
the 170 is,
205 was the request, 170 is my
So the 205 was, so then.
Yeah, but
So what's
no-
wrong in this column is the 2,074 should have been 2,500 still.
no, because if you take 2,074 times the unit cost of 9884, you get 205, the department request.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
So if you take the 170, the town manager, 068, and divide that by the 9884, you get 1,700 tons. So there is a further cut down. I don't know, are you?
We asked for 250 tons of salt. What did you?
2,500.
2,500 tons.
Just the number that's here, if I take the manager proposed dollar amount and divide it by your unit cost, you get 1,700 ton. So you went from 2,500 to, down to 1,700, and I don't, yeah.
We usually ask for 250, that's our.
2,500.
2,500.
What'd you buy last year, Frank?
Well, they cut it a lot last year.
What'd you buy last year?
How much salt?
Yeah, how much was the budget for last year?
I think it was at 2,250. I have to go on I'm on Munis, I gotta go on the old.
It's a lot different because last year we had a lot left over from the year prior.
What is the unit
Yeah,
cost
that-
listed as?
We shouldn't be lower than that.
9884.
Yeah, I think that's a problem.
Right.
The unit cost should be 82, yeah.
Oh,
82, it's 82.
Yeah, that's the problem, because it's 2,074. The unit cost is just wrong in that.
oh, okay.
That's different than the liquid salt, right? Liquid salt's separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
brine that we're doing, right?
Well, because they can make the brine.
You can make the brine from the salt,
Yes,
Yeah,
but we have a separate item for liquid salt.
yeah, so that's the additive.
yes,
You
yeah.
have to put
Okay, that's the additive you put into the brine.
They
Yeah.
put bourbon into it, you know.
Oh, I like that.
Degrees,
Okay.
you can do ice
Speak my language now. So you're
Okay.
making an old fashioned. All right, cool.
Okay, so,
Does that market price fluctuate throughout the year? Can you buy at certain times of the year and get a better price?
We buy a state bid, so we're in the hole, because it's the amount of salt that the state buys, so they tell us the price per ton. We're buying straight salt, there's 2 different salts, there's treated salt and straight salt.
What's the difference? Just curiosity.
It's already treated with the bourbon.
okay.
I see.
Oh.
But outside of state bid, yes, supply and demand.
Right.
Like this winter, it went sky high.
Right.
And we were locked in.
And we locked in, so we're locked in.
We just couldn't get it.
Okay. So that 2,074 is the right tonnage. It was
That's
just the
rate
wrong.
that Rory's proposing, yeah.
Okay.
And the 170 amount is equal to 2,074 tons at 82 a ton.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
how much did you use this year?
I'd say 1,000. Oh, no, that's right, so you bought, yeah. You probably were around the 2,000 ton mark, at least.
Okay.
Because we just bought 1,000 ton, 2 weeks ago.
And your barn's full or not full?
It's full.
Full now? Good.
Okay. All right, so then I'm feel better about that, now.
So we got deliveries in between,
Yeah.
and then we just ended up.
You had purchased it, but you couldn't get it, right? It was like held back.
Yeah, the trucking was an issue.
Yeah.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
That's all that I have on Public Works. Does anyone else have any questions on
Nope.
Public Works? Okay. All right, engineering, I did not, it's up a little bit, but, oh, they moved over all your GIS stuff.
Yeah, this is, this is
So we're good there. I don't have anything,
learning,
on that.
District Noir, public
Streetlights, there's nothing on streetlights.
Public health, next one.
Public health is,
Stagnant.
well, no,
No, it's not, it's up.
it's East Shore Health, right?
Did we, I know we talked about some things here, looking at some other options. Has that ever been, I know that since Mike left, maybe that's kind of on hold.
Yeah, he had developed something, but I don't think we ever
Yeah.
talked about it.
Right,
Yeah, you delivered a report to you.
right.
Correct. But it kind of fell from there, right? That's something to revisit?
We can, but I'm not so
Not
sure that
now.
we can do it, should do it during budget
No,
season.
no, I know
Because it's gonna
that.
be a cost either way, so.
Either way, yeah, but it's gonna be increase the cost.
Did you make a note of that, Rory?
This is up $10,000. This is all East Shore Health and what we
Yes.
pay East Shore Health.
And this is all contractual?
Yeah,
All right, so let's move on, but yeah, make a
Yeah.
note that we're gonna revisit that in May.
okay. Veteran Services, there's nothing. Social Services their budget actually went down a little bit, so thank you, Louisa.
Yes, thank you.
In regards to that, last year we did increase, Louisa's and gave her a full-time, part-time person, so they're there 19 hours rather than,
Good work.
yeah. So how is that working out for you? Okay. It was a good decision? Okay, great.
Good.
Okay. All right, library.
Let's close them down. Let's go Facebook.
Okay, so my first question is under your regular employees, and when I look at last year's budget and what these are, the union people on here, what they were making, and it says it's a 2.5% contractual increase, but it doesn't come out to 2.5 based on the numbers in last year's budget, so.
A little bit more to that story, so it's a 2.5% increase, and then there's a 50-cent additional increase after the top step, so for those after 2 years of employment, so that's on top of the 2.5%.
So it's more than a 2.5% increase.
But it's all CBA, right?
What's that?
It's a CBA.
Well, I know it's CBA, but I'm just looking at their justification and looking to see, it says it's a 2.5 increase,
They're Teamsters.
but
they
it's
don't have
not.
to.
But it wasn't. So, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it with that explanation because it's an added piece, which is part of the CBA.
Yeah.
So that's fine. And then I was looking at, so what's the difference between library technical assistant and a library technician.
It really is just the level of skill work that they do. So library technician, we have 3 employees there. They do a lot of our tech services, a lot of our accounts payable, a lot of our marketing and promotional stuff, graphic design work. So these are semi-professional positions with semi-professional work that they're completing for us, even though they're in a part-time capacity.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, and I know the, library has their own custodians, as does the Park and Rec Department Community Center. So I didn't look to see, do you guys stay on the same path as far as this, what that custodian, that part-time custodian is paid? So you're at the same level and we're not competing?
Yeah, we check in.
Okay.
Submitted the budgets and make sure it's the same amount.
Okay. And just for the council members, so what I noticed in going through this is on account 53-200, which is on the, one of the pages there, they did not do the separation of the, there's actually 2 accounts there. And so the numbers are correct on the front page, but on your backup page, it is not correct because there should be, those are actually 2 different accounts.
Okay.
That's in there. So the front page was correct, but our backup was not
Okay.
correct on there. So if anyone noticed that, if you looked in your budget book. But how much I'm just trying to look here quickly, how much are you proposing to use out of the trust fund for?
30,000 total, so 28,000 from the Atwater Trust and 2,000 from the smaller Smith Trust.
Okay.
Cool to have those.
Which supplements your library books? I mean, that's, so whatever's in here for library books, on top of this is what you take out of the trust. So it's added to this?
It's a transfer in. It's in the revenue section. You won't see it in her expense column.
Okay, so this is total inclusive of what she's gonna buy using
Right.
Yeah, so
the
you-
trust
it
account.
becomes revenue and you can take it off that.
Okay.
I gotta ask a question, just because I wanna know. Public movie licensing, $5,000 or $525, and then the justification is Swank. I just need to know what Swank is.
That's the company's name, yeah.
Fair enough.
They had a great marketer, I don't know.
All right, I'm happy with that. Swank.
Okay. All right, that's all I had for library. Does anyone else have anything?
Oh.
Yeah, on the travel reimbursement, is that done by the mileage?
Yes, so we submit mileage reimbursement quarterly.
Okay. And it always comes out to the quarterly payment in here?
It doesn't vary too much, I would say, you know, I've been doing this for 7 years and probably 3 years. It factors in us going back and forth between Smith and Atwater, sometimes the occasional meetings, but we pretty much know how often we go back and forth. For me, it's 3 or 4 times a week.
I did.
For Carly, it's about 2 times a week. That's pretty constant and consistent.
So do you actually track the mileage in your car?
We submit spreadsheets.
We think she dropped off on the way by.
Add extra mileage.
Once in a while, I get a cake, so.
Maybe I do, and I just visit Jerry.
So I did see a service in here that I was not aware that you guys do, and that is that you bring library materials to patrons that can't travel to the library. You know, it's like,
It's nice.
as an added service to
That's
the
very
library.
nice that you do
Yes,
that.
yes.
It really is.
So,
Nice.
Library brings a lot.
yeah. That's all that I had on library. Does anyone else have anything on library?
Good.
Okay, we're good. So we're on to community center. So those that are behind the polls, you can, move out here.
Freaking crack, huh?
So. Okay, so one of my questions is already answered. It's the whole gas diesel for the vehicles is put back into the budget, so we all went through that, that got put back into departments. And so DOT physicals, because I know you have the vans that people have to, is that not included in the town manager's budget?
No, so I do just DOT drug testing and pre-employment DOT physicals. But these DOT physicals are for the CDLs, for the bus drivers.
Maintain our CDLs.
Right, okay, so.
What
so
number
I
is
didn't-
that?
It's,
Where do you see it?
it's, under, what's the van inspections?
It's
Oh, it's under 55,
990.
990, other purchase services.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then also on your travel, because there's travel reimbursement. So so there's two of them here that is a monthly amount that you, like a stipend that you get. But I know that we added to the, and I'm not exactly sure how this, well, before, but we didn't have all the vans that we have. And I know we recently purchased the minivan that is used to go to medical appointments, which I believe is only certain days of the week and certain timeframes, so that it's easier to get in and out of by the hospital and wherever you have to go with those. So couldn't that vehicle be used to pick up stuff and deliver, use it, because it's a department vehicle?
It
Right.
can on occasion. In some instances, yes.
Okay, so what is the, I guess, what is the travel allowance? I mean, compared to, you know, I know you go to the parks or whatever, you have to check stuff out, so that's a travel there. But I think what we had talked about earlier about being
Make
consistent
them uniform.
is to
All
make them uniform on there,
I think it should be all mileage.
is doing that, is doing mileage. And similar to, probably to what the library does on there. I guess I just don't know what that covered. Like, what type of things would you have to use your own vehicle to go, that you couldn't use one of the vehicles of the
So
department?
there are instances where we certainly could use like the minivan, like when we do our day-to-day running around, whether it's going to a property, to a park, to a meeting, to the store, like all of the things that we do. In some instances, it makes more sense to use our own vehicle. So when we travel to, like today, for example, we went to Quarterly for the day through CRPA. Last week I drove to Massachusetts and I was gone for 2 days, work-related. So I'm not gonna take, you know,
Okay.
company vehicle for that. So for our larger, you know, events and programs, I mean, we also use it, we use my personal vehicle many a times to cart things. Tables, chairs, so like to the tree lighting, to events, to move items, because it's not always, it doesn't always make sense to put, you know, hay bales in a van. So.
Makes sense.
Okay.
So what were you in Massachusetts work-related for?
Last week I went to Massachusetts for 2 days. Myself and Ashley McLean from Beyond the Horizon, we were invited by the Massachusetts Recreation and Parks Association to present on community partnerships and inclusive adaptive programming. What we're doing here in North Branford, we presented at their state conference.
Okay.
They put boards in the various parks
That's
that are
one piece
learning
of what
boards.
we did.
Well, I'm saying it's part of it. I'm just giving you props for what you're doing. And it's inclusive. It's really good stuff that they're putting
Okay.
together.
So those
But how
are
is
the
that-
AAC.
How did them going to Massachusetts benefit the Recreation Department in North Branford?
Well, it shares,
I mean, it benefited you,
it benefits our community.
and you were presenting, so you didn't learn anything.
I actually stayed for the conference for the day and sat in on workshops to
Okay.
further my knowledge, mostly on budgeting and finance.
We got Munis, it's really easy now.
The Munis does make things really easy.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, so on your summer help that you, because I know they're seasonal. So do you have to, like, if they're coming back that they worked for you last year, do you have to go through the whole process again of having them, like, enter them like a new employee in the system, or do interviews, they're just automatically, if you so choose that you're having that person back as a counselor, a camp counselor, they're already in the system, right? You don't have to, you know, are you,
They'll throw their background check? Like,
why don't, they probably,
We do background checks before the initial hire. A lot of the camp
Camp
counselors
staff.
will stay on and do like.
After school
And
events.
April vacation camp
Camps.
and that sort of thing, so
Winter
they,
break.
they remain employees throughout the year. So
Okay.
we don't re-onboard them because we don't off-board them.
and you don't have to update their background checks ever so often, do you?
Should we? Probably.
Okay, I mean, it's
I mean,
not,
to be completely transparent with you, probably.
if they're
Most
they're
of
minor
our
facing.
staff are minors.
right.
But to your point, we probably should.
I just didn't know if that was
I
protocol
mean,
or what.
we probably should across the board.
So are you fully staffed for your summer program?
Not yet.
Okay. And last year, because your summer program, were you at capacity for the?
Yes, we
Yes.
were actually, we had wait lists for all weeks last year. We were at capacity and were unable to exceed that. We didn't have the space or the staff.
Okay. Okay. All right. Does anyone else have any questions under?
Yeah, how do
reason?
you renew your CDL every year?
How do we renew it?
Yeah.
Well, you have to have your,
You have your physical.
you have your physical, that piece, and then it goes through the Department of Motor Vehicle.
Yeah?
But
And every year you go? Because like, you know,
No.
like me and
Do you-
Franny and
so-
all of us that have CDLs.
So
you know, We either
CDL,
get 4 years
no.
or 2 years.
So
But Is this
CDL
one different because you're hauling people and you go take a test every year?
So these are that was for the CDL physicals, the
Well,
renewals.
I see there's CDL physicals
Yep,
and there's CDL renewal.
there are CDL renewals, yes. And it's not, it's.
So that's what I'm having a hard time with
It's
6 people.
not every year
With 6
that-
people, you can't have 4 renew every year if it's the same as my CDL that lasts for 4 years. So you might have 1 every year.
Correct.
And that's peanuts. But it's just, it's just that I didn't know if maybe hauling people, because I don't drive a school bus. I didn't know if, that's why I asked the question.
So 2 of our staff are required to have annual DOT physicals for medical
Right.
reasons.
And that's because they're not healthy. If they were healthy, they'd get it 2 years. So, and believe me, I'm not healthy, so I have to get it every year. So, but on your renewals, so the 4 of them, so you really don't renew them.
We don't
You guys
re-
renew them when your driver's license is up.
Correct.
All right, I got to the bottom of the story. Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So do we have more vehicles or less vehicles or the same as last year?
We have less vehicles.
did you get rid of one? Because one was like not repairable. It was like on the way out, the air conditioning was off.
So what we opted to do is, actually, I should say, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. We have the same amount of vehicles because when we got the new vehicle in December, we traded out one vehicle for that. We opted to keep the 8-passenger vehicle. And we opted to get rid of the 24-passenger because we replaced it with the 16.
So on the fuel, it looks like you're gonna, projected to spend 15K on fuel. Next year, you're only gonna spend 8K or 9K, whatever that says, 8K. I don't
It's
see how
9, the
that's
town manager took out 7,000 for
Right,
gas.
right, so where's the fuel coming from?
So what Rory did,
I don't know.
is Rory just looked at our historical numbers and there was an overage that just kept getting carried over. So that's where he found the reduction.
Yeah, but if you're projected to spend 15K this year, right, that's what it says. Unless that number's wrong.
It's listed at.
That's what I was just trying to figure out how you were going down unless you had maybe an electric cost.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's on the top page where it summarizes, it does say projected 15,000, but their actual as of March 18th was $2,500. So it's hard to believe that in 3 months, they're gonna spend $13,000 when in 9 months they only spent.
But also, so
So the projection.
are we to guess,
So the projection was off.
you know?
So
Yeah,
the projection was
okay.
off. Absolutely.
All right, just
It
wanted,
happens.
yeah,
And-
I just wanted to check, though.
Yes.
Yeah, and there was nothing budgeted, because this must have been, it was in the cost center, and then it came back,
Right,
is that what
it's
this?
a fuel
Correct.
situation.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, I don't have any other questions.
So
for-
I didn't understand the answer. How many vehicles do you have? Just 2, an 8-passenger, a 16-passenger, and the minivan?
No, we have 2 8s. We have 2 8-passengers, 1 13, 1 16, and a minivan.
And then there was the
And there
24,
was
and
a
that's the one
24.
that you got rid of
Mhm.
on there.
But you replaced it with.
With the 16. We opted to pull the 24 out of service.
Yeah.
It was getting too costly for repairs.
So did we trade it in, sell it, scrap it?
It is,
290 Forest Road currently.
Oh, it's at Franny's?
So we still have it then?
It's
Buy it?
going out- It's going out to auction.
I'll buy it for the tailgate vehicle.
Okay,
Kidding.
okay, so we are getting rid of it, so that we're not keeping it on
Right,
the,
keep them, you have
We're
to
out
keep
to
them.
Right.
Spring sale.
right.
Sale.
Okay, all right, moving on. There's nothing in Ag Commission, Reynolds Beers, public celebrations, elderly housing is just, that does have an increase, and so you're anticipating,
I'm trying to ramp up for the North Haven deal.
the sewer expense going
Sewer
from
use
5,
fee.
so this is
It's a foreshadowing of what's gonna happen down
to
there.
the sewer budget in September? Is that it? Going from 500 to 650? That's a,
It's,
but,
it's
but.
gotta get there. It's gotta get there
But that
eventually.
place doesn't go to North Haven.
It's
The senior
it's a-
housing.
It's the sewer user fee that's townwide.
Okay,
So it's not, it shouldn't be the North Haven reference is just to say why the cost, I think, is escalating that we talked about.
Is that
with
flow
the
goes from
sewer
Brad,
project.
right?
So
yeah, but he's just talking this,
Does
that's why.
anybody know what it costs if you live in North Haven? Because in Branford, it's $180.
I don't honestly know.
So I don't know how, we send ours to Branford,
Right.
and we pay 500 currently. They
Good
pay
bad deal.
180.
Well, I
know the
think
system.
part of it is like on North
They own
Haven,
the system.
well,
We also have a collection system that we have to maintain, so it's not just the actual cost of disposal.
But, and then it's also North Haven, when we explained about North Haven during your budget presentation, is they put off capital expenses for many years. And now they have a huge,
I mean, we went up when Branford redid theirs.
Right, same kind of deal.
Yeah.
We shared in the debt service. We did the same thing in North Haven about 15 years ago when they did the last expansion.
And then did we send to New Haven as well?
We send it through East Haven to Greater New Haven, WPCA.
Greater Haven.
Goes 3 different ways depending on where you are in town.
but, and I think part of it also is the number of units. We only have about 2,600 houses total, somewhere around there, which also includes.
Commercial, yeah.
Is commercial on there, where I'm sure Branford has
Oh, they had
a
most
ton.
of the town.
Yeah,
Everything but Stony Creek.
a ton of units on there, so that will definitely drive your costs down.
But that's
and then-
getting, you know, that's getting expensive if it's gonna go to $650. You know, $650 a year for,
Stratford is close to 1,000.
and I know the state health department tells you can't put a septic in if you're on sewer, but, yeah. Pretty soon, I think people are gonna have had enough. They say, you know what, I can go, and septic systems haven't changed a lot.
Yeah,
They're
engineered
state of the art,
systems.
and you can put them in the size of a driveway now that work. So maybe some of the time, I mean, yeah, you're paying $650 for that, and $500 for your kid to play sports in school, all on top of your $15,000 tax bill.
Yep.
$650 is a lot for a sewer.
That's just a
That's a
placeholder
proposal.
we put in there just
You're
to
probably right.
illustrate. I mean, you've seen the numbers we had previously with North Haven's debt service. We're gonna take
Yeah,
a portion of that, so it's gonna be, it's gonna be a 20-year, burden on
We're
our
just-
back that we
we
have
just
to
got
get to a
solid
better
waste.
number, and
That's it?
we can go as a cliff and go from, 500 to 9, whatever it ends up being, but we can kind of go gradually and kind of work up to it and
Okay,
ease the pain a little bit. That's
Solid
that's our
waste
logic.
got it.
Okay, last one is solid waste disposal, 8403. So in December is when, so on John's, we're in our 5th year of a 5-year contract, and we have 2 2-year options.
We did one, we exercised one, right?
Right, but so I just wanted, so in what John's had proposed is that there would be no increase for 26, 27. But obviously that changed because I see there's a 3% increase in our book here. And is that because we only exercised one of the options instead of 2?
Yeah, correct. It was a matter of it being read differently by both parties. So the original contract had two-year options. The proposal that they put forward was meant to be taken as both 2-year options because the council voted to exercise only one. The discount that was in year 1 of the first 2-year option went away. And so they told us to 3%.
Okay, so can you call them back and I think it's prudent to take
Yeah,
both 2-year contracts?
And they'll get rid of the 3?
That's,
We can find out.
Will they
Yeah.
maintain, so that, I think what I recall was they weren't going to indicate any change in 26, 27, but there would be change of which we were unaware of for
well,
27, 28.
it's CPI.
Yeah, okay,
Which could be
correct.
between 3 and 5. They didn't give us a number, they just said CPI.
If we go off of their understanding, will they maintain that? That's essentially what
Yeah.
you're trying to
Yeah.
get at, right?
We can ask.
Yes.
Yeah,
if
ask
you-
that question, we'll do it, I think.
If,
Is there a fuel adjustment on that? Is it a lump sum bid?
yes. And also ask them if, because we talked about this a little bit last year, if we got rid of one of the bulk pickups. And we only did one bulk pickup. Hey.
Oh, those are fighting words.
Like, how much would you save by only doing one bulk pickup? Right now, in addition to the contract, it's an extra $100,000
Yeah.
for bulk pickup, and that's for 2. Last year, when we talked about this during budget season, they said, no, keep both bulk pickups, but they gave us a $15,000 discount. So that $15,000 discount is back in, they're not giving it to us in year 6, because that's what we're in, so we have to pick that 15,000 up. Plus, there's a 3% increase. But we never got a cost as to what it would be if we got rid of, like, how much would we save on a bulk pickup? Just so we have some information in regards to that. And then I see that, I know there's condo rebates because they don't get the service of the John's Refuse, which is fine. But if there's no increase in our contract, then that number shouldn't change, right? The condo?
Well, no, it's based on the percentage of a mill rate that we spend on garbage, and it's based on the assessed value of everybody's condo. So if the condo assessments went up, if they did some work in their condo and their assessed value went up, and based on the percentage of a mill rate that we use for garbage, that's the formula that we use. So it's taking everybody's condo in town,
But, so last year there would have been because.
significant change.
There shouldn't be a significant change this year because we didn't, there's not a huge change in the valuation and.
Right, unless they individually did work on their condo, that did a building permit, that's gonna change the assessment.
Yeah, that, to me, that's a small
Yeah.
percent, I mean, that's probably a small percentage on that.
Great.
So, yes, did you have a question about that?
Well, it's an observation for what it's worth, and this is probably good a time as any to do it before the council. I in the short time I've been here or different boards and commissions, I know that this bulk waste pickup thing has been a big issue with some people in town. And I've heard this, it's a big deal. And I do remember, I don't remember where it was, somebody testified before the council, and I wasn't here at the time, saying that if you get rid of bulk waste pickup, you're gonna find junk all over this, all
No, that
over
was
the
Cliff
town.
Palm.
Okay, maybe not just him. Here's my point.
Where is he tonight?
All right, so here's the point I'd like to make. This town is a trash bin. Connecticut DOT has done nothing to clean up Route 80, Route 22. It's littered with trash, large plastic bags as big as that desk. And I just can imagine, if the Connecticut DOT can't even clean up the roads with litter and trash, it makes us look like East Haven, no offense. Right? Then I'm worried about, was that person who made that observation correct? Are we gonna have
Right,
junk all over this town if we get rid of one of the trash?
Right, that's a possibility, but I think it's fair
Do a
that we
blight
get a
law,
number,
though.
that we get a number and
Well, we
and
have,
then.
I agree.
we have
I
two
agree.
pickups now, and you go down Beach Street,
Yeah,
We do have 2 transfer stations in town, like Cherry Hill and.
Oh, yeah, but you have to pay
You
for
can
it.
go there
Yeah.
anytime you want. You can
can.
go there anytime you want and throw stuff out.
Yeah, you can use Guilford.
I know. Route 80 is a trash bin. Have you seen it lately?
I agree.
Looks like hell.
All right.
Okay, so this takes care of town operations. I'm not really gonna go through capital tonight because it's already 10 o'clock and I think, but there's one thing that I need to just talk about on capital that we have to consider adding, because it's not on here, is paving for the Board of Education at Jerome Harrison School.
Yes.
So the Board of Education kind of feels that it shouldn't be part of their capital, it should go under Public Works, is a discussion that they had at our subcommittee meeting. In the end, it doesn't matter what department it's under, it's a capital project and it needs to get done. It's the only school that's left, and that is original parking, and paving there, and their bus turnaround.
It's
the-
deteriorated.
The curbing, it's an accident waiting to happen.
Which school?
Jerome Harrison.
It is a lawsuit waiting to happen. It needs
And-
to be done this year.
And I know,
Period.
well, I don't think we can do the whole thing, because Danny did get new cost figures, updated cost figures for Jerome Harrison. And when we talked to the Board of Ed 2 years ago, when they had paving in there for TVS and Jerome Harrison, they told us it could be split over a 3-year period. Last year, we did TVES, so that was year 1 of 3. The Jerome Harrison project, what is left to do there, is definitely a 2-year project, if not 3, because they have the front bus turnaround in a parking area, they have something on the side that we could split up, and then they have the back parking lot. So Danny does have updated numbers, and if you could just email that to Rory so he can get it out to all of us, and then.
He did last night, I'll get it to
Do
you
your
for
numbers
tomorrow.
include curbing and is it granite curbing?
Yes, there's an estimate there.
So just it mirrors the middle school, the
Yeah.
high school, and the library. So
Okay.
granite against the buildings,
Yeah.
asphalt in the lots.
All right, so the
No
turn up at
concrete.
the circle itself is asphalt?
No, that'll be granite.
Because that's not against the building, so that's outside, that's why I'm asking.
That's gonna be granite.
Because that's what you guys
It's
hit.
a high traffic area.
Yeah, with the.
And
plow. I mean,
there's
it's gonna happen.
We're
also,
gonna make it smaller, we're gonna make a spot so we can push the stuff up.
and
You'll
there's,
see a map.
they have proposals for the other parking lot, you know, on the other side of, when you come off of Merrick Drive, that parking lot, because there's an island there. It's just a nightmare to try
Yeah.
and maintain and plow.
Yeah.
It's just take
Add
it.
some parking there would be great, because I
We
know
are
they always
going
do for
to,
it.
yeah.
But the other thing is you have to think about is the main drop-off, where it really affects, you know, kids tripping, is that part, obviously the bus turnaround is big, but obviously the other spot has a lot of traffic as well. We want to make sure for both preschool as well as kids going into the.
Well,
regular
so they have, you know, they did take that into consideration. Franny and Danny have done it, but there's also an added piece that is gonna be part of the proposal. Is anyone that goes to Jerome Harrison School, during drop-off or pickup morning knows that Merrick Drive is a nightmare
Nightmare.
to try to get down. So Franny has come up with a proposal that he has talked to the chief of police with. And what they're proposing to do, which is part of the cost factor, and that's why we have to think of 2 or 3 years, is from the driveway that you pull in to drop off to the back driveway, the road or the grass along there is to make that a lane, to make that a lane.
You know where I feel about this. I think
So-
that's great,
We
but
all feel the same
I think
way.
you need to revisit with the police commission, which I asked to happen last year and I was told no, is that we make, and citizens there may not like it, but there are cars that are out-of-state
Yeah, but
cars
you,
consistently there.
yeah, but you won't, that won't be an issue if they do what they're proposing. They already walked it with Jimmy.
So that would be big enough to allow a lane of traffic plus having cars stationary?
Probably gonna be 3/4 of the lane, yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna add.
It's dangerous right now.
So
Yeah.
Jimmy's putting on the next agenda for, the traffic
I
authority.
still think you should put the cars off there.
Yeah,
How much
so,
are we talking?
well, I don't know, Danny's gonna send the total project is
Yeah.
$500,000.
Okay.
Yeah, there's many options. If you do it all at once, obviously it's cheaper. If you phase it 2 or 3 years, the price goes up.
But
These are based off state bid numbers, so it's by the ton.
We also did it.
What's the number?
Combining it.
500.
500.
500?
Finding a-
We
Needs to be
also figured in combining it with one of our projects, because the more asphalt we buy, the less the price
Really?
comes down.
2?
I just don't know the time.
Right, but the asphalt curbing in the high school's already been hit and demolished. Have you seen that lately? So, I mean,
Yeah,
we
the big
just price
stuff.
out the granite curbing, just to be sure?
They did.
No, I'm talking about the inside, not along the building.
No, yeah.
Yeah, they did for the bus.
Priced on the inside curbing, right? But you just said asphalt for those.
So we're doing granite against the concrete walks against the
Right.
building, and the island is granite. If we were to do everything in granite.
No, I understand it. I think you
it'd
said
be,
the island would be
700.
asphalt, okay.
Yeah,
It's
Thank
just
you.
as much as the whole project.
yeah.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
So,
But it
so,
lasts.
so that will be an add-on to our CIP, and then we can discuss.
We gotta, this is something we've talked about for, I don't know, 4 years. We gotta put this to bed.
Well, it was a big, I mean, the numbers that the Board of Ed gave us last year to do Totucket Valley and Jerome Harrison, the total was $400,000, but we spent almost 300 just at
I know.
TVS, and this is gonna be 5, so those numbers are not, you know,
Don't let the
they,
facts get away with a good story.
yeah, I mean, so,
And there's a-
we had to phase it in.
We have to put, I don't know, if the
So the Board of Ed's gonna pay for all that, right?
Yeah, I know.
There's also an escalation clause that happens.
Right.
You know, if the prices keep going up like they're going. it's
Yeah,
gonna go up.
right, okay, so, I don't know if there's any, so the next item is public comments, is there any public left?
We used to also have a paving reserve years ago. Money aside every year, again, because every town building, the asphalt, is gonna be
Well,
X amount of
just
years, it's gonna be.
out here, I
it's
mean, the
terrible.
entrance to the,
Oh, that's disgusting.
yeah.
No reason for that.
But there also, last year, and I don't see it on here on the CIP, last year, we had, like a vehicle reserve, and we put $200,000 into
Yeah.
it. I don't see it listed on the CIP here.
Where's
For
that?
this year's CIP?
Yeah.
Yeah, who's the 200,000 go to?
No, it's just, it's in a vehicle, it's in a vehicle reserve account, and if we deem fire gets it, we deem Franny gets it, we deem someone else gets it, doesn't matter, it's up to us at what
Yeah, where
vehicles.
does that go? Where does this sit?
It's coming nowhere.
Where'd you hide
It's like our
it?
two-
So it's,
It's in the reserve fund,
What reserve fund here?
3602.
But it's not shown on here. I mean, I know that you didn't, there's nothing proposed to put into it,
Right, right.
but that's something we need to, to talk about and,
200 Gs.
what,
We should be able to reduce our paving, because we're a farm town, we should be, on dirt.
horse and buggy?
Yeah.
Oh my
Gravel.
gosh.
We got the quarry to replace the gravel as it gets swept away.
So I'm assuming that 200,000 is still in an account someplace.
Oh, yeah, that's in the reserve fund. It's in
Okay.
another column now called vehicle reserve. Not police, not fire, not
That's
public
right.
works, just vehicle reserve.
That's what it should
So,
be.
so can we update this
You want
CIP?
to put it in this year again?
Well, put it, show it on here so we don't forget about it, and also the JHS paving,
Okay.
because
Well,
Danny,
you're not going to show it here unless you want to fund it this year.
Well, let's
This is
fund it.
historic, this is
fund it-
historic, this is what's in this year's CIP.
Let's fund it with something,
well,
even if it's a minimus amount.
no, but there's stuff on this CIP that's listed, department request and then manager proposed zero, and there's,
All right, so department
so
request.
I-
So the fire has a reserve, public works has a reserve they requested.
right.
No, but who do you want to request the miscellaneous money?
Well, the vehicle reserve, it's just vehicle reserve.
Yes.
Put it under general government then, I don't care. Does it,
We actually could use some vehicles outside, to tell you the truth, but that's a different
just
story.
put it there so that,
If you're talking about vehicles,
so that
we
we,
got a dead
see-
one out there, a dead Crown Vic, want to come get it.
so that we see it. And then the paving, I don't know, put
Paving
it,
reserve?
you put it under education, I don't care, it doesn't matter.
No, that goes in public works. Paving reserve.
Well, it's been under education all this time,
That's
but
not the reserve, yeah. That's a specific project.
it's the JHS, and Rory has the numbers that Danny
Okay.
gave, and then we can decide what we're gonna do with it. But just get it on this so that we don't forget about it.
May I?
Gotcha.
So, no,
I'm asking, may I? It was nice. I was gonna scream it out.
no, I just wanted to, so that we're prepared for next Tuesday.
You're on, man.
Okay, all
All
right,
right.
yes,
I propose adjournment, please.
okay.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone, for
Thank you.
staying.